ready. Toyu Konami.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2020 High School Esports League Grand Final for League of Legends. This is going to be amazing. It's been a long road coming and we have good League of Legends today. And with me on the panel we have Herman Psycho Reinach. And yeah, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good today. There's going to be a cracker between the two teams because we know they have some top class players and also they have some regulars from the main VS League as well playing in the high school teams. So it's going to be great competition between the two.
100%. We have Mason Lanceris, who's playing, who is one of the people that play in Prem, and we have Peanut, who has also been featured in Prem. But also, this is a rematch of a very important game that was done during the split, and Paul Roos is the current champions from last year. So they're coming in here trying to retain their title, but Grantleigh went undefeated during the previous split. So this is a very grudge match basically, because the only people Paul Roos also fell to was Grantleigh. So this is going to be very intense.
Yeah, Grantleigh will want to just get in there and just retain that championship, whereas now Paul Roos, they just want to have that redemption match now in the grand finals. What a better stage can't be set just for them.
No, 100%. And I'm very excited to see someone like Lance Harris come in here. He made a name for himself coming through the high school league and entered into Prem, joining a top team, been performing pretty well. And now this is like kind of his play park where he started. And the same thing with Peanut. It's two people that I'm really going to keep my eye on and I'm very excited to see. Now, for those of you who don't know, League of Legends, pretty basic. It is like chess, but think of it like chess with you have 4 teammates, 5 versus 5, and there are 140 different pieces, basically. So there's a lot that can take away. At the end of the day, your job is to kill the enemy's base. You destroy the base, you win. And I'm just hoping that we see some good quality League of Legends coming out of these high school teams. What are your thoughts coming into this?
Well, they're younger players, so they're going to go for those bigger and flashier plays, and that'll be great to see. Let's just hope that they play with that confidence to try to pull these things off, because going into grand finals generally, the players will get kind of scared and they play to not lose instead of playing to win. So the main thing we want is for them to play to win these games. And then if they do that, then we'll see some great League of Legends. Yeah.
And do you think like Paul Roos being the current champions, them winning last year, coming into this, they've been here, they must feel like kind of composed. They're like, we are the champions. Like, we don't have any stress. You have to come and take the title. I just need to defend it. Do you think they have the mental edge going into this matchup?
I don't think so at all. Paul Roos is literally, because they've lost that previous game during the regular season, they're going to be a lot more stressed because of this. And on top of that, it's a championship. So they're going to have the stress of retaining their title and then having that mental, or not the mental edge part going into it just because they've already had that loss. However, from what we've heard now with Peanut coming back into the team, so they should actually be able to expand on that experience he brings in, and that could actually help benefit them quite a lot.
Definitely. And do you think like bringing it in, you have players that compete at the highest level in South Africa, playing in the Premier Division, right? Do you think having them in your team, them learning from like these experienced like championship level players, them learning from that, they bring like an elevated level to the high school league and bringing that up?
No, definitely, because these are two notable players on both sides of the table, and they've made the grand finals with both teams. So obviously that has to have a massive impact on how both teams play and the level of experience in the teams. So it definitely works.
100%. And to talk more about that, we actually have an interview set up with Mason Lanceris, who is the mid laner for Grantleigh and one of the aforementioned players that we were talking about. So yeah, let's go over to him. Mason, how are you doing?
How's that? I'm
doing good. It's an early Saturday morning. You ready for some quality League of Legends?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm ready to get straight into it.
No, definitely. Now, coming into this, like we mentioned, is you guys went undefeated during the regular split, but you are playing the current champ or the previous champions in Paul Roos. Do you feel like there's any stress on you having to perform, especially you as the captain and someone that everyone's looking at to be one of the better performers in this team?
Like if you go back years ago, especially last year, they were the only team we actually looked at. I think for a while last year we actually beat them until we got to the finals. Then we didn't drop a game. We haven't dropped a game since, and we're not drop a game now. So I wouldn't say we're nervous, but we're definitely not being happy. We're going to try our best no matter what.
No, definitely. And is there something like that you guys prep? Did you prep specifically for them? As you said, they were the only people you dropped against last year, but you've been undefeated this whole season. Did you prep specifically for them, or did you just come in there saying, we're going to play our game, we're going to do it the way we did it, it worked for us in the league? Or did you come, okay, cool, we need to focus on this base of three and be prepped as best as possible?
We've tried different methods and found one that we've used throughout the year. Always worked for us, so we're going to do that this year.
No, 100%.
For this final.
Yeah, and how do you feel with your team? Have you guys drawn together for the final? Do you guys have that like pep talk, confidence boost coming in here? Like, have you shared your experience with your team in general? Or how are the players feeling?
Well, I mean, only one of the players hasn't played in this tournament that we played last year. Only one of them has. So we all know what it's about. And we all know what Paul Roos is capable of and what we're capable of. So I think we're all in a good, we're all kind of hyped to play the game. And I think that we're really excited to get the game and see how it's going to be.
No, definitely. And with like esports being introduced into schools, it's a big deal. It's a big thing that people have been talking about a long time. Because for a long time it was mainly you had physical sports and then you had like chess and stuff like that, that people that are more like they want to use their brain or something was focused on. But now esports, you see it very much introduced. 38 schools were in this tournament. So do you feel like that will elevate the league as a whole or the scene in South Africa as a whole? And do you feel like that just opens doors and opportunities for players like yourself that are playing in the highest league because of the high school league?
Definitely. I do think, specifically this year, not much sport COVID. Esports really, I think, was elevated just a little bit more, especially in our school. There was no sport at all, so only sport that was esports. And I think that, yeah, it definitely will elevate the whole league.
No, definitely. And like you mentioned, with COVID, that did make stuff tough. You know, people couldn't go into school.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't play physical sports because, you know, there's a global pandemic on the line. But the thing that really thrived through this time was esports. And it just opened up the doors even more for you guys. Are you expecting like more schools to take this route, maybe even universities take this route to get more involved in esports and make it something that's more a household name and not something that is seen as a fringe activity?
I definitely think this will become more prominent, 100%. I mean, it's reaching a wider player base every single day. And I think that because of this pandemic, a lot more people are opting to play games and be more invested into this type of scene because they can't really watch any other sports. So I think there's an entertainment factor to watching it. I think that factor can cause people to want it.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Mason, for the interview. We really appreciate it. Good luck in your game. We hope you're the best and all of the luck on Summoner's Rift. You know, go and show us some good quality League of Legends. Thanks.
All right, we'll do.
Perfect. Aaron, some strong words there from the captain. He's feeling very confident about them coming into playing Paul Roos. He's not feeling like there's any pressure on him. Do you feel anything from him? Do you feel like he's comfortable?
Yeah, to me, he seems super comfortable. Also, we saw that he had some early morning games. So he's had practice and warm-up time as well. So I'm pretty sure he's going into it and he's just going to be comfortable. His team, like he said, they've been here. They know what to do. So I'm pretty sure they'll be fine going in.
Perfect. And now, to hear from the other side, we have another interview here with the captain of the Paul Roos side. Welcome. Are you here? Yes. How are you?
Hello. Good, and you?
I'm well. Now, we just heard from Grantleigh's captain. How do you guys feel coming into this, being the reigning champions from last year? Do you feel any extra pressure having to defend your title?
Well, kind of, we did. It's not like we are full of stress and stuff. We just practiced a lot, and I mean, we are confident that we can still take this serious.
100%. Now, yeah, we are here with Luan. Luan, now, you guys have been prepped. The only game you dropped the regular season was against Grantleigh High School. Do you feel like there's any, like, you needed to prep specifically for them? Obviously, you have to for a final, but did you feel like there's any added things that you learned the last couple of weeks or days, like, that you kind of busted them or know what they're going to do? Do you have a game plan coming into this?
Yes, we definitely did do have a game plan, and we did practice a lot. Like specific comms we tried making against them for the last time we lost against them, and we definitely did like a review over that game to see what mistakes we did and what we could do better in this game.
Yeah, was it difficult to do research on their team as you guys led up to this point?
No, not really. I mean, we just use OPGG, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the nice things about esports, right? That you can't really do in traditional sports is there's all this data that you can go and look at. You can literally go and on a website and pull up all of the information of what these teams have been practicing, what they've been doing, what the individual players have been doing. And that's something you can't do in other sports. Do you feel like that gives an upper hand to like strategy and things like that coming into these types of esports industries and more the esports related side of sport now?
Yes, I definitely think it's like an advantage because I mean, I played rugby normally and you don't really know against who you're playing and what you can do against these people. But like when you look at esports, you can literally just search them or watch a game they played and you know mostly what they do by the champions they play and stuff like that.
Perfect. Thank you, Lon, for the interview. We really appreciate it. And we
Thank you
will
very much.
talk to you again. We will see you on Summer's Rift. Good luck and, you know, show some good quality stuff.
Thank you.
Cool. Perfect. And then next up, we have the teacher from Grantleigh. I think it's Belinda. Pretty
That's
sure.
right, yep.
Yes. And excited to speak to some teachers. I actually want to see what they are going to say about it. So, Belinda, welcome to the High School League. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having us. Great. Looking forward to the match today.
Yeah, no, me too. Now, Belinda, we spoke in private, myself and Herman, about this, and we're very interested. How did this start with Grantleigh getting into esports? Was it something you brought up? Was it something the school brought up? Or like, was it the
students
scholars,
banding
the
together?
students, yeah.
Well, it was our IT teacher at school, funny enough, with this current team. Back in grade 8, she encouraged them to participate and to play. And yes, so thanks to Michelle Eckert, really.
No, definitely. And how does it work? Like, do you know a lot about the game, or are you just more like a facilitator, making sure they practice, they get along, they don't want to hit each other or go crazy or mad at each other?
No, I simply just manage the team. I don't play. I have to constantly ask the boys for advice. And so my job is really just to ensure that the boys gel, they practice, and I just do the admin for them, really.
Yeah, and also that they probably just stick to the school's image and ideals so that the school is represented as best as it can be, right?
Absolutely. At all times we have to, make sure the Grantleigh flag is flown high.
No, definitely. And coming into this, you probably know that you guys are looking very good. You won every game this regular season, so you must be feeling pretty confident in your boys coming into this final and getting the job done.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of the 5 boys. They've worked incredibly hard in their matric year. Had to sacrifice a lot of academic time to ensure that they practice. But every match has to be taken on the day, and they have to work and perform on the day. So it's really up to them today.
Okay, perfect. And Belinda, I'm just curious, do you do it like it's a rugby thing? Is there age groups? Or you're saying that these players are matric? I know Lanceres is a matric currently. So once Mason goes out of matric, do you just replace him with anyone from grade 8 to matric, or is there like some form of age restriction?
No, we have boys playing from grade 9 onwards. So we have a junior and a senior team.
Okay.
But I'm concerned that we might not have a League of Legends team next year with these boys all being in matric this year.
Well, that would be very unfortunate, especially if you win this year. But Belinda, thank you so much for the interview. We really appreciate it. And good luck on the game and good luck for your boys.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Belinda, have a wonderful day. Perfect. And now, our final interview is another teacher, Louis from Paul Roos. And I am very excited. Louis, how are you doing? Are you here, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Louis, I like the Paul Roos merchandise in the background, just in case we didn't know.
Very subtle.
Yeah. So you guys are the current champions, and I spoke to Luan about that too. And he said there's no real extra pressure. He's coming in this confident. He's feeling good. How do you feel as their teacher and basically like their manager as well? I don't know really what role you facilitate.
I actually think that I feel very confident about them playing today. I know how much effort they've put in the past week. I've managed to keep my matrics healthy and awake. They're all focusing, they've been practicing, so I'm feeling good.
No, that's fantastic. And do you fulfill the same role as Belinda, where
I'm more of a manager because I don't know that much about the game. I have them teach me about it every time. I watch all the games that I can. I support them and get the parents involved. It's really nice to have the parents sit at home and watch the game on their TVs. And everyone really loves that. And the support we get from parents and staff is just amazing.
No, definitely. And coming into this, were you a big fan of esports before? And if you were, like, how does it feel having this come in to like the school environment? Because for someone like me who was into esports when I was in high school, and that just wasn't an available avenue to go down, you had to go into private leagues like VS Gaming and stuff to actually fulfill that. Does it like feel at all like a coming of age for the esports arena or scene?
It does, definitely. When you think about it, we are giving these kids everything that we wanted at school. I'm a passionate esports player. My wife jokes a lot. She says other men would watch rugby and their wife would lie on their lap as they watch the game. My wife needed to learn about CSGO because I follow it religiously. So I watch esports. I play it. I love it. And I'm giving that to the kids. Everything that I wanted to have at school, I have now within my power to give to them. So that's a privilege.
Perfect. Now, thanks so much for the interview, Louis. We really appreciate it. Good luck with the game today, and we hope all the best for you and your boys.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you for casting. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks. Okay, perfect. Herman, we're excited. We heard a lot of people talk now about their schools. I'm excited. All of them seem very confident, which is kind of confusing to me.
Yeah, they don't seem nervous at all. Like, everyone is just, they're super confident, like they look excited to go into it. I think we're going to have really good games today.
100%. I haven't seen a lot of confidence like this in a final a lot. Usually before a final, I see people, they're nervous, they're a little bit timid, and
they get some of the shakes going.
Yeah, they're not very talkative. These people are ready. They seem like they're ready to go and smash each other, and I'm really excited for it. I think I'm even more excited after hearing them speak about it.
Yeah, and it's also nice to get the insight from the teachers and feedback into how the schools are dealing with these systems, especially with, for example, now when eventually the students like in matric will leave the schools, then how they're going to feed into those systems. So that's also super interesting because like we know with sports like rugby, starting at the grassroots level is the best way to get a higher level of competition later on. So, for example, feeding into the main VS Gaming League.
No, definitely. And that's something that's starting to happen. Like, VS was always, the main VS League has always been like the number one, like the Curry Cup or the Super Rugby, if you will. And then there was some like universities playing at some point. I don't know what happened to that, but now we're at the high school league level. And bringing them up from there is so good. We've already seen players transition from a high school league position to a position of being in a top VS team. And I'm hoping to see more of that. And yeah, you know, they take it all back, which is very interesting and it's very good. But one of the big things for me with these high school teams is something that was mentioned by Louis, is how their passion for esports and the other people can watch it from their house, like the parents can watch it, right? So now instead of you having to drive, go sit on a pavilion and next to a lot of other sweaty people and cheering your boy play rugby or hockey or whatever, now you can sit in the living room, watch them on YouTube or watch them on Twitch, and then the other room playing, and afterwards you can be like, cool, well done, you know? So I just feel like there's a lot of interactiveness about it, and you know, I'm all for it, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and the gaming industry is so massive. Like, there's actual opportunities for these people, especially if we get these local tournaments going and to get them to an elevated status. Because these students can eventually, like what they're doing in America, they're giving scholarships out for League of Legends and esports in general. They're starting to offer esports degrees. Like, it's crazy what's happening in the world. So, and it's also much safer, especially with the pandemic going on. So people can do this from home. Anyone can do it, anyone can take part, and that is the most wonderful thing about gaming and esports in general.
Yeah, no, definitely. And talking about gaming and esports in general, we have another person, another big brain of esports with us, and that is Alex Reimel-Royds, someone who's very... Here you are. Hi, Alex. Someone who's very well known in the League of Legends scene, and what my fellow caster as well. How are you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing really well. My gamer name and my surname happened to swap, but...
Hey, it happens, man.
It happens.
Now, going into this, I'm like, both of these teams, like we just said, look very they seem very confident. We have Lanceris, which is a big name that everyone knows, and we have Peanut, who everyone knows, on the side of Paul Roos. So, you know, those are the two that I'm going to watch out for. Is there anything in your research that you found? Someone else, maybe diamond in the rough, maybe there?
I think one of the biggest things that needs to be pointed out is the fact that the players, a lot of them, because it's a high school league, have been forced to play different lanes that they normally play. So I know from Paul Roos' side, I think a lot of them, they have about 3 mid laners and 2 junglers or something along those lines. So they've obviously had to reshuffle in order to make the team work for the game. I'd love to see double jungle, but I don't think that's going to be something we're actually going to get. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is to see how the players perform, because even trying to check the stats is relatively difficult because, like I said, most of them play different roles.
No, definitely. Do you have a question for Alex?
Yeah, but Alex, that's also a good feeder system for these players to actually develop in different aspects of the game. Do you think it's super beneficial in the long term for these players to actually play all these different roles? What's your perspective on that?
I mean, I definitely think it's good to be able to play all roles in the game. It makes you a much more rounded player. It also makes you less, or more understanding, let's say that, to the woes that your laners might suffer from. I mean, I know I moved from jungle to mid lane once upon a time, and that was quite a hard adjustment. So I can imagine, even for these players, just for this tournament, adjusting is quite difficult. But I definitely think it'll make them better as a player individually.
Yeah, perfect. And time to jump into Champion Select. I am very excited. I just want to kick off this final right now to see what's going on. Because, you know, there's been a lot of talking, and now it's time for some playing. So what are you expecting to see? Do you expect anything spicy? I'm expecting... Skarner. You're expecting some Skarner. Did you get a read about Skarner on someonesoapy.gg, or what do you know? What do you know that we don't know?
Well, I mean, I think Peanut's played like 8 Skarner games in a row in his last couple games. So
that's a pretty good giveaway.
Yeah, that kind of hints at something. And that's a GG influence that he has. Because Jungly Moron in GG, it's another player that plays in the same organization as Peanut. He also likes to play a lot of Skarner, and we saw that in VS. So, and the mid lane pool for the side of Grantleigh. The last time they met, Lanceris took over on a Vladimir pick. I'm expecting them to take that away and not giving him something that can just take over the game by himself.
Oh, well, spoilers, Vlad and Skarner have already been banned. So
okay, I can't see the draft. Where's the draft?
I can see the draft currently.
Okay, perfect. If we can just pull that up for the rest of us.
We have Darius, Vlad, and Skarner banned currently.
Okay.
And
well, the Vlad ban, I think that's a good ban.
I'm hoping
like
for
we said,
some
it took over on
wombo
it.
combo picks happening, like Malphite, Oriana, because like you said earlier, with the players being in different positions,
Yeah.
so it'll hopefully be more team comp based, so that you need less individual skill on certain champions that you might not be as comfortable on, and then just focus on team comp to wombo when make the game easier for you and your team.
Yeah, and just make it comfortable for you. Playing something that's easy to pull off and that doesn't take like a high skill ceiling or like a very intricate mechanics or anything like that, or a large burden of execution on yourself. That is the type of things you want to play, especially if you don't have a lot of synergy or anything like that. Alex, what's going on in the draft there? Do you know?
So Hecarim has also been banned away. It does appear that Grantleigh are basically just banning Peanut out as much as they can in this game. They did end up banning LeBlanc last, but there have been 3 jungle bans so far, so expecting a jungle pickup to be picked up in the first 3 coming through for PRG.
And I mean, Peanut is a very well-rounded player. There is a lot of stuff he can play. He does tend to play a more like carry-oriented junglers, and we can see drop now. And the first pick, Shen, coming out from the side of Paul Roos, a very, very strong pick in my opinion, and something that's not very hard to play.
Yeah, and it just adds so much to the overall team, because if someone gets into trouble or makes a misplay, you can actually just go in and save them. Yeah. And because of the buffs he had, his base damage is so good. He can brawl with anyone. He has so few weaknesses. He's got CC damage. One of the core things about him, though, is that you need to, for example, build first Titanic Hydra, because you need that wave clear. That's his one weak point.
Definitely. And we see the Jin Leona pick up from the side of Grantleigh. Jin is something that Grantleigh like. I did see them in my research play it a bit. Jin Leona is kind of like, I like it but I don't like it. It's kind of counterintuitive, because Jin likes to play from far away and Leona likes to be in their face. But they're securing themselves damage and reliable, or kind of reliable engage. And we're just going to see Graves for Peanut. That's a champion that can take over a game, if I've ever seen one. And that's on, arguably, Paul Roos' best player on Peanuts. And that's kind of scary if you're Grantleigh, no?
Yeah, I also almost got scared when I saw that Galio hover for Paul Roos, because then I was like, okay, it might be a full global comp where they can just impact anywhere from the map, which will be insane to watch.
Yeah.
So let's hope for that pick to come through, actually.
100%. And Zaya being picked up also for the South Paul Roos. A very self-sufficient... Oh, Jarvan. Okay.
I haven't seen a Jarvan in a while, actually.
Jarvan did get buffed recently, so he is kind of back in the rotation. I would have liked them to pick like Jarvan Galio. I think that would have been good, but I don't hate their draft. I'm expecting Paul Roos to probably ban Galio here, otherwise that's just free for Grantleigh. But maybe Grantleigh don't even pick Galio, seeing as one of the highest carry players is the mid laner Lanceres, and Galio's not really a super carry, but he can do a lot. And Diana Band, that's also aimed at Lanceres, obviously.
I definitely think that taking away the Galio would be a good idea, especially from the side of Grantleigh.
Yeah, there's the Galio Band, big brain.
If they do pick up the Galio, Zaya's pretty effective at actually just dodging out. Yeah, there we go. The Galio's banned anyway, so we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, and Zaya is just very self-sufficient, and I kind of like Zaya into Leona. You can dodge that solar flare with your feather storm, so that's kind of nice. Cassidy also banned. They just pinching mid lane pools right now. Oriana is still up. Syndra's up for Lanceres. There are still things up for him. I am expecting them to just give him the counter pick and pick the top laner here. Set, yes, I am very smart at this game, unless that is a Set mid lane, which I highly doubt.
Yeah, you don't see Set mid lane too often anymore.
Yeah, for good reason. It shouldn't.
I'm a little bit concerned for Grantleigh right now that they're picking a very sort of all-in comp, and I feel like if PRG pick the right sort of champions here, they can work around it, especially with the fact that Zaya can stall. I also like the fact that they did pick up the Desire because Thresh should be able to just roam around with Peanut and leave Desire alone in the bot lane. And if we get another shielding champion, like an Orianna or like a Lux, we can basically see this being a protect the Peanut kind of comp and hope that this Graves pops off and hard carries the game.
Yeah, definitely. Their comp looks pretty good, and they have a nice amount of disengage for this hard engage coming from Grantleigh right now. I'm expecting something that can try. Nothing can really bully Orianna mid lane.
Well,
you can play stuff like Syndra.
Yeah, 100% can bully her.
TF is still up, and TF is a very strong pick, in my opinion. But I don't know if Lancers famously doesn't have a huge champion pool, and the Vigar, the classic Vigar, coming in here, and a lot of zone control and a lot of just ways to make to cut off areas for Grantleigh. But the comp from Paul Roos looking good. They got a nice disengage. They got nice damage. They have a lot of good pieces there. It's just going to come down to execution.
Yeah, but like, Alex, could you please tell me what your insights are into the early game? Which team comp is better for the early game there? Like, who's going to take control? Because I know with the Paul Roos team, the once they scale, they're going to be so strong, especially when you get that Orianna getting all her penetration items, when you get the Graves, like, high-performing in the jungle. Well, how do you see the early game happening?
No, I honestly think Paul Roos is actually in a really good position right now. If they can kind of skirt around certain team fights and avoid these sort of hardcore engages coming through from the other side, which name just escapes me right now. But I definitely feel like Peanut's going to have the edge here. The Jarvan matchup into Graves is heavily favored into Graves.
Yep.
So Graves is going to be able to just take over the game if he gets into the jungle. I expect an early invade, early vision. They've got the Thresh to kind of spot out any make any early picks. And I mean, Shen can also level taunt if he has to. I think it'll be the detriment of his lane.
Yeah, it will.
But I definitely expect some early game aggression coming through from Paul Roos. And I feel like it's really necessary because if they sit back as well in this game, there is a chance that they don't want to fight around objectives later. So they need to be the driving force to get to the objectives first, set up the vision, take the objective, before potentially the other team gets there and sets up.
Yeah, 100%. And just a disclaimer, we did make a mistake. Grantleigh actually won the championship last year, not Paul Roos.
Okay.
So just a disclaimer, sorry to anyone that might have been offended about that. But yeah, going into this, if Jarvan can be very proactive in the early game, and he only needs level 2 to really gank, you see a lot of red buff into ganking lanes a lot from Jarvans. So if he can be very proactive and get this team ahead, he can really make Paul Roos' life very hard. Because all of a sudden you have a strong Vigar, you're cutting off lanes, you have like a strong Jhin. It just makes it hard for you to at all walk in or get into any form of fighting line when you have these zones just covered off.
Yeah, I also think it's really dangerous though, because the Jarvan's kind of teetering on the edge because if he decides to go for a level 2 gank, a player like Peanut's going to take your whole other side of your jungle, and I don't think you're ever going to be able to recover from that.
Yeah.
So I feel like some cheesy sort of move like that is not the best idea at the end of the day, especially when it comes down to these games.
Yeah.
Like, you're risking a lot to all in early in the game.
Yeah, that's true. What are you thinking? Who do you think won draft? And what? Let's get some predictions in, actually.
For game 1, 100% for me, Paul Roos won that.
Ooh,
because like Alex said, the Graves pick is fantastic. I'm a big fan of the Shen. And the thing is, like, Seth relies on bullying the opponent, but what?
True.
But Shen is literally that champion. Hopefully the top laner will literally get pushed and then just freeze top. Shen is so good at freezing. So that's already, and then also Shen with the global presence with his ult, it'll just, their team comp for me is just so good, and it's going to be very difficult for Grantleigh to actually just deal with it.
100%. And for you, Alex, prediction for game 1, who do you think wins?
I honestly don't want to be the guy that says I don't want to predict something, but I really don't, because I feel like, although I feel like certain matchups are very in favor of Grantleigh and and some others are very in favor of Paul Roos. It's the caliber of the players.
Yes,
like
very
I feel
true.
like Lanceros will be able to deal with Champion in the mid lane, and the Vega will happily scale. We might even have a Vega that's potentially winning the lane quite hard in a lane that he shouldn't be winning quite hard. So it kind of messes up all of my predictions here, because I'm actually quite happy to say that because of what Herman mentioned earlier with teams picking things that are easy to pull off,
Yeah.
that I think Grantleigh will actually take this game, because, I mean, they just push the go button and they just dive in.
Yeah.
And if they're not too far behind, I don't feel like they're going to suffer too much.
Yeah, and I actually I like the comp from PRG more, from Paul Roos. I do like it more. But my problem with it is it's a little harder to pull off, right? You have some clear ways to fight and things, but if this game stalls out, you're going to have a Vigo that presses on and people just die. You're going to have, like, that big problem. And they, like we said, easy stuff. Set, R's in. Jarvan, R's in. Now all of a sudden you have a Jhin and you have Vigo just free hitting people. And when it comes to that point of the game, you're looking at 3 items. It's just going to be very hard. But we are into game and ready to go. We just need to sync up sometimes, and then we can jump into game 1 of the grand finals for the high school league. So I'm super excited. How are you feeling, Alex? You ready?
I'm good. Are we pausing at 10?
Yes, we should be. We just need to sync up times, and then we can get going on this game.
Okay, awesome. I definitely do think Paul Roos have got a good team comp. Like I said, I'm just very, very concerned for them that they're super reliant on making picks with this Thresh. I feel like Shen, it's your best ball delivery system as well, but to utilize the Shen properly in this comp, he needs to be splitting.
No, definitely.
Okay,
And we're just looking at this. Okay, we just need to get everyone in order. But I like the Xayah as well. There's a lot of self-build. You can dodge out a lot of the CC coming in, like the Solar Flare from Leona, like just the annoyance of most of their team. But it's all going to come down to also winning the lanes. We see a lot of volatility in games like these where people are winning lanes they're not supposed to, or teams just running away with the game just from win lane, win game type of mentality. So we'll have to see, what happens game 1. Like, who's coming to play? Who's coming to win? Who's coming to take home that title? Like we said, Grantleigh won last year. Are they just going to come back, run it back? They haven't lost this whole split, so are they just going to come and run it back again? So that is something we'll have to wait and see.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, we are finally into game. I hope you guys
Yes.
are seeing what I'm seeing. But a very, very standard start coming through from both teams, which is kind of not what I really wanted to see. I was really expecting to see Paul Roos taking some early steps to getting some early vision and trying to make the game a little bit more ideal for them, getting early vision for Peanut. Peanut is looking.
Yeah.
He does get a shallow ward in, but I don't think it's deep enough to do exactly what he wants, but he will be back in to try and pick up a red ward,
Yeah.
so he can potentially get some early aggression out.
We do see him running Ignite with Smite instead of the Flash. Is that something you've seen a lot, Alex?
So this is something I've seen Garth Ryan Miller from VS Gaming do a lot, and it's definitely something where the jungler is looking to be as aggressive as possible. So the Graves is going to probably look for a level 2 or level 3 invade and try and make something happen.
Perfect. Can we just get the Observer to pull up the scoreboard, please? And order the champions, that'd be great. No, the champions are already ordered. That's not a problem, just the scoreboard. But yeah, we do see some standard clear here. Actually, light switch on the Jarvan starting on top side, which is interesting. I wonder if he's just going to pass down to his bot side, try and get an early gank there and get Gatsby ahead, or if he's trying to get onto Kampioen here in the mid lane. It looks like he's just drafting or walking down. Just going to do a normal 4 buff clear into Scuttle, looks like. And pretty standard stuff right now going. I think most of these lanes are pretty even. Okay, no. Bot lane should be heavily favored. So you do see a little bit of a trade in the top lane.
No, we see Peanut coming in for an early gank of the monsters, trying to see what he can do. Chunks him down to about 300 HP.
Yeah, and that's just that early pressure, just to put some Kampion a little bit at ease. And Lance is taking a lot of damage already. Has to pop one of his potions, but he does have TP, so he's not going to be too worried about it. Ooh, light switch.
Light switch. Walking into Peanut. Peanut gets a free kill ignited off, and that's going to be the job of dying. Leona is there, they're looking at the fighter. So Oriana has moved across as well. There's not really much Grantleigh can do in this situation. Deathmins does land, Thresh following over, doesn't have land from Zaya trying to see what she can do. They chunk down Leona to about 300 HP, and Paul Roos really picking up the early game here.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we saw there that Lancers doesn't have Prio in mid lane, so he can't walk to come and help his team out at the blue buff. But that light switch should have just left there. Like, sticking around on that HP, it's not going to help him a lot.
Yeah, light switch once again getting caught out in the jungle. Peanut he doesn't have the flag and drag to get away, and light switch looking really low. Does smite for the heal. Deathmins does just miss, and that's 2 flashes coming through from the Oriana and the Jarvan. Smite luckily up in time so that light switch doesn't end up falling there, but really Paul Roos being so aggressive right now. This is really the start that they need, taking over the map from the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, Peanut in such a good position right now.
Yeah, and that's what you mentioned in the pre-game, is like that's what they need to do. They need to take the fight to Grantleigh. Don't let them get comfortable at all, you know what I mean? So that they're doing the right thing, and if they can keep this pace, it's going to be very hard for Grantleigh to get anything done, because we see they don't have Prio in mid, they don't have Prio in bot lane, so they can't walk. That means Peanut can just do whatever he wants.
I mean, the lane just bouncing so perfectly for the Shen here. I mean, I know he's a little bit behind, but he is going to end up getting a huge CS advantage from that lane. And everything just working out for Paul Roos right now. Like, they've got the early aggression that they wanted. They've already got a 400 gold lead or 500 gold lead, and the lanes are just freezing up perfectly for this Graves, who is ahead.
Yeah, and light switch is pathing towards top side. He's just doing top side scuttle. There's not much he can gank right now. He can go for something mid, but Peanut's always going to be around there, and I'm expecting Paul Roos to just get Prio mid lane like they have, Prio bot lane, and then just walk to the dragon and take it for free. There's not really anything that Grantleigh can do about it if that is how it's set up from Paul Roos.
Yeah. Ooh, we did see the shadow dash onto.
Okay.
A little bit of a trade. Jarvan's
here.
Dragon Drag does come through.
This might be a dead Shen. No? Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead. I think he's just gonna get away.
Okay, interesting fight there from both sides. A little bit of life coming in here from PRG6.
The Facebooker comes through. Jarvan flash.
Okay.
Still has his flash though, still safe.
Yeah. I mean, we have a nicer studio now, but mine and Alex's favorite word is still ooh. Okay. Dive top lane. And that is a kill going over to Grantleigh.
No respect coming through. Peanut is potentially gonna get this kill. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, that's one kill going over. Jarvan looking to see if we can out-trade. I really think Peanut might still win this.
Yeah.
He's busy stacking up the passive.
Ooh, he's playing as well. Oh, the flag and drag.
Peanut actually dies.
Oh my word. Well played from Light Switch there. We doubted him and he said, no, sir. Do not doubt me. I got this, but now he's just going to die too. No, he's going to execute?
Oh,
no, I think it was just a couple of seconds off. What a man. Well played. But now Peanut is huge. Peanut is 3-1-0 with 150 gold bounty. This boy's gonna be a problem.
Oh, and I really think that early aggression. I think that Jarvan definitely needed to pick up those 2 kills, otherwise the game would have basically been over for him. We do see Jin walking straight in. The villain gets with Flash coming out. Flash following through the Deathmatch lands. They're also going to get a hold of them. But as she gone too far, she gets played backwards. I don't know if she's going to be able to make it out, but does appear that she might. Lance busy trading in the mid lane, does get the stun onto Champion. The shockwave comes through.
No mana.
She's going to get blown up by the Veigar ulti.
the outplay button there from Vigard, just pressing RB like later. Sampion had barrier up, that just feels bad. Maybe didn't think he would die there. I don't know what he thought. He also didn't have any mana, so I don't think he wins that anyway.
No, I don't think he was going to win that, but I definitely think he was caught with his pants down a bit there.
Yeah.
He had his barrier up, didn't use it. Maybe didn't expect the turnaround from Lance, as Lance was relatively low on mana, but...
Yeah, and I mean, this is a Veigar with Glacial Augment. So he's going to be even more annoying, have even more zone control than a normal annoying Veigar will have. He'll be able to slow the whole team, just create a lot of chaos and problems for the side, and make it easy for someone like Leona to hit her solar flare on top of those slowed areas.
No, it's going to be really interesting to see where he goes. I assume he's just going to go the standard Hextech GLP build.
Yeah.
I would rather really like to see him building Spooky Ghosts. I love the Spooky Ghosts, especially... You don't. You just build the one. We see another invade coming through. They're looking to see if they can get on the light switch. He's forced to flag and drag away.
Peanut's just making light switch's life hell right now. Just invading him every chance he gets. Sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, Lance happy to just sit in the mid lane and just farm up and has already built a 10 CS lead. Did hard shove that wave and could potentially catch him out of Dragon here. Should be able to get free turret plates as well. But we do see they have started up the Dragon.
Yeah, I think they might just hand this over. Yeah, and that will just go to them. I'm expecting Peanut to build some... I don't know what he's going to build actually on this, okay?
Champion
taking a lot of damage.
Getting taken down to about half HP.
Ooh.
Vega's just not afraid at this point.
Yeah, Vega's in a good point, and I think you take a trade like that if you're Sampion, you're going to have a bad time. Excuse me.
Okay. Shen just went down the ward in the top lane. Interesting that Shen decided to go Cull in this matchup.
Yeah.
Especially considering that he isn't particularly farming amazingly. I mean, it will pay off later, especially once he gets a Tiamat finished off.
I think he's probably just thinking, we are handshaking this lane, we're not fighting. Yet he keeps going for fights.
Oh, light switch. Oh, what a whip coming through from Champion. Even the stab beam, even with Java jumps and uses the Cataclysm. Peanut does manage to get away, but here comes Lanceros. The curtain call is outstand United as well. Donovan's going to get caught out, and meanwhile Shen trying to get the dash onto Lanceros. Lanceros does manage to stun him up. A little bit of trade damage coming through, and that ends up being a 1-0 trade in favor of Paul Roos.
Yeah, definitely. That was some interesting mechanics there from Sampion. If we can just get the observer to turn off chat before one of these players say something.
Willem going super aggressive on the Gatsby. Gatsby getting exhausted. He's not going to be able to escape from this death sentence being used to finalize that kill. You hate to see it, but the support picks up the kill on the bot lane.
Yeah, the support just saying this is my kill, I do all of the work for it.
Oh, Peanut already 4-1, looking to pick up this Rift Herald as well. I don't know why Directed Camera doesn't seem to enjoy looking at the objectives, but we do see the Graves busy trying to pick up the Rift Herald. And we saw him previously just bullying the Jarvan out of lane, and this is kind of the thing that I am a little bit afraid of for the Jarvan. He's already starting to get bullied out of his chickens, and I feel like this, if it carries on the way it's going, it's going to get quite rough for him. Oh, Champion.
Ooh.
Getting caught up.
In trouble, yeah.
Doesn't manage to land any skill shots right now.
That's just a fancy feat there from Sampion. You can't hit him. He's moving. After that failed flash shockwave, he's like, cool. Okay, you dodge my stuff. I'm about to dodge all of your stuff. So, you know, good job. I think it was more Lanceros missing, but let's give some credit.
Lands with the Gatsby. Gatsby caught out with the Organist, they can turn around, turning onto the villain. Cleanse does come out, but Gatsby's just getting beaten by the Thresh. Oh, but the Jarvan has come in. Lightswitch looking to see if we can get the flag and drag. Doesn't manage to get it, maybe predicting the flash, but it's going to be a shutdown going across over to the Gatsby.
Yeah, and it has to be said, last Airblade looking good on these death sentences. Just like he keeps hitting Gatsby on them, so very well played. Ooh,
Champion, surviving, just fully get away. Minions are beating him though.
The level up almost saved him there.
Picking up another kill in the bot lane at the same time on Donovan General Troll.
Yeah, and it has to be said, the two people that we talked about beforehand, that we said to watch out for, Peanut and Lanceris, really coming to play. Peanut, obviously, okay, he's 5 for 1. Obviously a bigger impact, but Lancer is nothing to scoff at. He has a 20 CS lead, and he's 2-0 in mid lane, so he's doing very well.
The one thing I do have to point out is, though, I feel like Peanut's lead can be quite deceptive in this game, just because, I suppose if we're all talking about these two players sort of carrying the game,
yeah.
Even if you're a Fed Graves, if you walk into a Vega that's ahead, you can still get one shot.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything...
Showstopper does come out, Haymaker as well, and that's going to be the share just getting absolutely obliterated in the top lane.
TD Shakes, well played, sir. Good job. Yeah, and like you mentioned, for Vega, it doesn't matter if you're fed whatever, anything basically, except for maybe a Mundo. If you walk into a fed Vega, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna die. You know, he has that ability to just make sure it blows up one person. So if you're Paul Roos and all of your money is sitting on one person, like it is right now, that's actually not very good, because Vigo can just blow him up and then they will win the rest of the fight. But I think it will come down to a lot of execution, and Peanut is a very competent player, so I'm sure he's aware of that too and will play around it.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm going to call the Shen 160-30 from now on, because that's going to be the easiest name to get out.
Yeah.
But the one thing I would like to point out is that 160-30 has decided to opt into buying a Negatron Cloak. I mean, has decided to get a Negatron Cloak and the Bridgewater Cutlass. And I don't really think Blade of the Ruin King is the best option to go for with this, because I don't feel like he ever actually gets to win the lane against Set.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a very questionable item to build. Like some players are already starting to lose to Shopkeeper.
Yeah, I'm thinking if in his position he should have just gone Tiamat straight into Sunfire, or maybe Sunfire into Tiamat. But what a lot of people like doing is getting component of the one, not the whole thing, and then they're finishing the other item. So I think it's a badly different POV.
Looking to go super aggressive on the champion. Did you see the owner will be going down? There's a fight over the dragon. The dragon goes over to Peanut. Cataclysm has come up, but that's going to be Thresh going down. Shockwave lands, finishing off the job, and Lance is now...
Ooh, Villain.
Ooh, and Villain using the Feather Storm, but Lance getting to flash away. And they are going to chase after the Set. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch him. They're hunting. Ooh, the slow doesn't manage to hit him.
Smoke Scream will almost hit him there. Yeah, that's a good fight from... That's a good fight from the side of PRG. And just killed the second dragon. So, you know, a lot of objective control. Oh, Sampion, fancy feet.
Fancy feet.
No, why is he standing so low? What did he
PM came out and he just died for it there.
He was dance spamming.
Peanut on the General Troll, but there's 4 members of Grantleigh here. They're going to get the snare off. No, they won't.
Launch.
Facebreaker comes out. Showstopper. We're looking. Last Airblade. He's going to get hit up.
Oh, good
brilliant.
stop,
Sonya's dodge. Damage coming through from the Vega, but they're going to trade 1 for 1 in the end. Another great snare coming through. Does manage to tag up Peanut. Lance looking to see if he can potentially make a play here. Primordial Burst is up in a few seconds.
He might just walk up and... Ooh.
Oh, no minions.
And that baby cage just creating so much space and real estate where PRG can't walk. And we saw multiple stuns getting hit there in that that fight in mid lane. So, and it's just free real estate for the side of Grantleigh. They can just walk up. It's like, cool, this whole area is now occupied by us and you can't do anything there. And yeah, it just seems very annoying. To be honest.
I'd really just like to point out the fact that Vega hitting all these skills so far already sitting with 145 extra ability power. That's already a death cap.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Is he going for and a classic South African pause? This is standard, people. This is not a drill. I think he's going for the Zonyas next. So that might not be a bad pick, just to make sure if you get caught out, you can survive a little bit longer, maybe get off another rotation of spells or something like that.
I mean, couldn't it be Spooky Ghosts?
Yeah, but you said you don't go that. So
Well,
what?
you
now?
don't, but he could. People don't
I
go
like
normal
going on Vigar going Spooky Ghost plus X-Tech GLP. I don't think it's bad because you get so much free AP anyway, and that's cooldown, movement speed.
I feel like Spooky Ghosts against this comp is really good. It was a point that I was going to try and make earlier, just because GLP you still have to kind of get close enough to be in range, and because
True.
Paul Roos have got like this very pick sort of heavy comp. I feel like Spooky Ghosts, if they're using the Fog of War, you drop Spooky Ghosts, you'll find them. It's like having a couple of free wards like back in the day. What was it? It's like clairvoyance back in the day.
Clairvoyance, yeah.
That's because champion getting caught up. The primordial burst doesn't want to be used. Forced to use it at the
he's
end.
just gonna pop it, yeah.
Knight's just gonna get absolutely destroyed by
Peanuts, yeah.
Peanut.
Oh.
Peanut is unstoppable at this point.
The two Fed members just killing people around each other. They're not fighting each other. They're just like, okay, I'll kill your teammate and you kill mine. That's fine. But you know, yeah, Peanut's very strong. He's already got Black Cleaver completed, so sitting on that nice little 2-item power spike, looking very strong. Oriana does have a Seraphs now, pretty good. I don't know about this build from the Willem on the Zaya going Blade of the Ruin King first. I'm pretty sure you should be going Essence Reaver first on Zaya, just to have that ult cooldown for yourself and that self build.
Peanut getting caught up by the baby cage. Facebreaker comes through, Showstopper coming out. Can they shut down Peanut? Gets a shield, still alive. Meanwhile, they do pick up the dragon, I think. I have no clue what's going on here. And we do see Leonis taking a very low flash. That's going to do death sentence, doesn't land. Gatsby does manage to help Leonis secure the kill, but the villain is going to get one kill, but it's not a shot. Don't have flash available.
Yeah, and we just see a lot of scrappiness from these teams. They are not scared to fight. Oh, Lance. Okay. Okay. The outplay button. The press R and I kill you. That is... it just doesn't feel fair, you know. If you are the Zaya, that is. If you are the Vigar, it feels like a lot of fun.
Ooh, Facebreaker coming through. 160-30, just... You trying to survive, yeah. Like I said, the Shen build really not a favorable build.
Oh, Peanut, stop playing.
And so set walking Shen to Peanut. Peanut should just pick up the skill. Hey, this is just inevitability. Peanut moving up to 8 and 1.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I did have a little bit of a pause there on our side. So I think we will be... We're at 13, 14, 15.
Oh, jeepers. Okay. We might just have to do a quick sync up. Where must I pause at?
Pause at 13, I'll tell you when we're at 30. Okay, 27, 8, 9, go. Okay.
Cool.
So we see there's not a lot of... Laning phase has not yet been broken by these teams for some reason. So it's almost 20 minutes into the game. And they're still playing their normal lane assignments, which is kind of strange, but also not a lot of towers have been falling. We see one tower being taken from Grantleigh in this bot lane, and that's about it.
Roos, throwing the dragon. Spooky Ghost is available. We do see the TP coming through. Spooky Ghost has been used. Cataclysm, Slag and drag into the smite, stolen away, shockwave onto one, but they're turning on the Peanut. Peanut shut down by the step, Peanut on the side. This is going to be an absolute whitewash coming through from Grantleigh, and they're going to pick up 3 kills. The Willem and Gatsby going in a one-on-one. I don't think Gatsby wants to take this fight. Willem's going to get him. In on the Shen, also getting caught out at 160-30. He's going to get taken down very low. I don't think he's going to be able to escape this. Does trying to get the shield, but Lance picking up the 7th kill. Going to be godlike now.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate if you're of PRG, and very well played from the side of Grantleigh. You know, showing the experience, relaxing. Okay, they just lost the fight. Peanuts looking strong, it's hard, they relax. PRG overextend to go for that dragon without the last stand from Shane being up, and you know, they just get punished for it.
Oh, and Shen's itemization right now just killing my soul.
Yeah, this is
No
interesting.
boots,
No boots, no pots,
boots.
no wards.
no HP, going for Stoneplate first. This is terrible.
Yeah, this is not what you want. For any high school players watching right now, get the Blitz app. And even, like, you might still build wrong in certain situations, but it won't be this bad. So hopefully PRG, what did you call him, 160-30, looks at this game and just reevaluates their build. And we do see a Hex rig coming in from Peanut. I'm pretty sure Phantom Dancer would have been better here, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure Death's Dance would have been better. To be
that
honest.
too, yeah. But don't you build attack? Do you still build attack speed on Graves? I'm not sure.
I think you can, but I still think Death's Dance is probably the best option. Because you can still go Death's Dance and then get Steraks if you really want to, I guess. It's not ideal on... Oh wait, does Steraks even work on ranged champions?
No.
I can't remember. I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. But the thing... Death's Dance is probably a good... I think Death's Dance is good into almost anything. If they have any AP champions and you're the AD carry.
Gonna go Death's Dance. I think honestly he should have gone Death's Dance. He should have taken Merc Trades instead of Ninja Tabai. I don't think Ninja Tabai is essential against a team that has literally the most CC in the game. And then you could have gone Death's Dance into the cleanse item, and then you're safe. You're safe as the primary carry. You can get away from Vegas Cage, get away from Leona's ulti, you can get away from Jin Snare.
Yeah, and I would like to see Thresh pick up maybe a Mikhail's here. I think it's a very underrated item and should be picked up more, especially into the amount of CC that they have. Oh, fight in the jungle. Oh, Peanut's just gonna run away.
Oh, Spooky Ghost.
Okay.
Lance looking.
Lance really using... Yeah, he's really using his Spooky Ghost to engage and to pick off people, which I think is the right way to use it. Shin is very much pushed up.
Grantleigh should just be setting up for the Baron right now. They should put their set in the bot lane. Oh, Shin getting caught out. Here comes the baby cage. Shin getting taken down. Here comes the primordial burst. Should be an easy kill, but they panic.
He gets up! Oh, no, never mind, he doesn't get up.
That's a little bit overkill, but I guess it does get dunked at the end. And now they don't have a lot of ultimates left, so Grantleigh might just have to walk away from this.
Yeah, I mean, Grantleigh expended 4 ultimates there. Okay. Yeah, you can't go for Baron if you're Grantleigh right now, just because you expended 4 ultimates to kill one person.
Paul Roos can go for Baron now.
Paul Roos can, definitely.
I don't know if they'll be brave enough to do it right now, but...
The thing is, they can start it, and in 12 seconds, 160-30 will have his last... He will be up and will have last stand, so he can just ult in. So, yeah, it was an option, but again, like you said, very much a risky call and a very brave call to make there.
We do see some pings coming down, and we could potentially see Paulus opting to trade out Soul Point for Baron, and I do think that is a viable option.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know how much it will benefit their team right now, because they are very much on the back foot. They do look like they're going to do it. They're starting up the Baron. I feel like this is a good call, because I feel like they can't actually contest for the Dragon. So at least they're winning something here.
Yeah, and they can freeze out the game a little longer, because it will be hard for the side of Grantleigh to break the base if there are Baron-empowered minions running out of it.
The problem is, do you really want to give Vega with this much ability power to Infernal?
That's a good point.
Or potential Infernal Soul.
Yeah, not only that, like, if these Baron minions push into Vega, it just gives him more time to stack and farm. And he's not getting any weaker. So we do see the double Rabadon, or the double needlessly large rods picked up by Lanceris, and that will most definitely go into a Rabadon's death cap. What was said on the World's broadcast yesterday? If League of Legends has told me anything, is to make a hat you need 2 sticks. Did you hear that?
Terrible.
That is
Two
terrible.
large sticks.
But it's
Needlessly
true.
large sticks, in fact.
Yeah. Not just some small, medium sticks or just large sticks. Needlessly large. It's unnecessarily so.
And
Okay.
I would really like to just see Paul Roos looking for like a 1-3-1 sort of setup and just playing their side lanes more. They do have the Shen. We do see past the TD Shakes getting taken down very low by Sampion Champion, and I would like to see Peanut working his way up here, but it looks like he'd much rather take away Light Switch's jungle at this point. But he will walk straight into Gatsby. Or did Gatsby walk into him? I'm not really sure. Flash coming through. The stun will come through. Leona's also going to be there. Gatsby getting burned down. Meanwhile, Shockwave coming on in the top lane. Past the Shakes, getting chased down by the Flash. Here comes Sampion Champion. Should easily get that kill.
Some life being shown here by Paul Roos, picking up 2 kills, oh no, only 1, and a flash and heal on Gatsby there in quick succession. So this game is by no means over, Alex, and they're looking like they want to start doing some damage. Good death sentence.
They're flashing away. Thresh gonna follow through. Meanwhile, Lance gets onto. Thresh just still behind the tower, still alive somehow. Peanut starting to go back in, does get onto Lance. Cataclysm comes through. Same with the solar flare. Lance does fall. 800 gold going over to Peanut. Can they actually kill Peanut in this situation? It doesn't look like it. The Shamefall comes through, and that's going to be a wash.
Peanut's just amazing, I guess. Very well played there from it. And the villain's still alive. He, Lancer is overextending there. Flashing, pressing his outplay button and trying to kill the villain, but the villain somehow survived it. I couldn't even see how.
Villain had Featherstorm up. Shockwave coming through on the ship. Doesn't manage to get anybody in. Paul Roos looking to just open up the base, take over the game at this point. Well, I did want to say, just before that fight erupted, that although the game has felt like a lot of the momentum in those sort of team fights around objectives have been going in Grantleigh's favor, they weren't ahead in gold. Those team fights brought them back into the game.
Yes.
Before that last fight we just saw now, the gold was dead even. The kills were dead even. And Peanut is now unkillable now, finishing off his death stance, got his Hex Drinker. Like, I don't see how Lance can ever destroy the Graves.
Yeah. Do you just go Void Staff if you're Lanceros here? Or do you go like Leandre's?
No, I definitely think you go Void Staff. You know, the Shen is not really that tanky at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's kind of something he needs right now. Like, we saw Lanceros Featherstorm was down. And then Lanceros flashed forward and ulted, but I think the Hex Drinker saved the villain's life. So just a miscalculation there from Lance, and I don't think it would have changed anything. Because I think if you kill Zaya there, you still die to Peanut just running amok and killing your whole team. So this is going to be... It's going to come down a lot to the execution from... Lancers and from Gatsby, and we do see the double IE build coming in from Gatsby on the gen as well.
I feel like to a large extent if Lancer just killed the Thresh in that situation with the Vega ulti.
Yeah.
Oh, Capitalism? No. If Vega had just managed to kill the Thresh in that situation, we would have avoided that whole fight, because Thresh should have died behind the tower.
Yeah.
Then they could have just focused on killing the minions instead of having to deal with the Thresh behind the tower for so long. Ooh, Vega looking.
Okay, no Banshees on Orianna.
Orianna does finally have her Ceres finished. Peanut just so massive, so scary, so aggressive this game, and this dragon should be theirs.
Yeah, and he's not playing scared at all. You can see how far up he's playing. He's not at all worried about getting caught. And that will put Paul Roos on Soul Point. So now you're on a clock if you're Grantleigh.
Peanut looking to see if he can get hold of Leona. Leona getting caught up. Does end up getting hit by the death sentence. Using the Zenith to try and get away, but I don't think it's going to happen. Peanut taking the kill back on a rampage at 12-2 at this point.
Yeah. And
I'm expecting Forrest to just walk it in.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a Peanut show right now, so gonna have to see them do something, and this can be the last stand. Ooh, good baby cage.
So much damage. Curtain Call does come out, shitting in the tank up all of the damage. Faster TD shakes. Whoa.
Oh, he hits another one.
Look at the shield. The magic is just the shockwave. It's a turnaround, and it's going to be so easy. Two of them falling. Here comes Lance. He's going to fall immediately. Cataclysm comes out, but it's all too late. And I think Paul Roos is going to easily clean up this game.
Yeah. And I think that just is game one for the side of Paul Roos.
Yeah.
Okay, there's still
Just
fighting
panic
going
the
on,
stats at this
and
point.
yeah, that should
Definitely
be
going to
it.
be game one, going with the Paul Roos. Is this a best of 3 or a best of 5 series?
This is a best of 3.
Ooh, that puts the pressure on.
Yeah. Now going into this, right? You are the current champions, Grantleigh. Okay, so with you coming into this in your Grantleigh, right? You are the previous champions. You lose game 1 in the final. This is the first game you've lost this whole year. How are you feeling? You feeling a little shook? Herman, welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. I would be massively shook after that loss, especially because the game was going so well. Your main carry was getting fed on that Vega. He was 7 for 0 at a stage, 700 bounty, and then all of a sudden, the game just swings. It was pretty even gold-wise for most of the game, but then all of a sudden after that Baron, it was even, and then all of a sudden 5k gold lead for Paul Roos.
Yeah.
You can't recover from that, and that's such a shock while you're playing. So I feel like their mental is just completely boomed after that. But they do have the experience in Lanceros to actually get the team going again and back up, and they do have that previous title to keep them going as well and be like, we can do this. We did this earlier in the season. We will be fine. So they have the ability to not completely boom out after that.
100%. And Alex, very much a good performance from Peanut, and something that we said beforehand is this guy, we've seen him play in the top end of esports in South Africa, and a guy that can take over a game. He gets that Graves pick and just literally takes over the game from like nothing, basically. He was consistently invading the Jarvan, making the Jarvan's life hell, getting first blood on him. Like, what do you do if you're Grantleigh? Do you just reset mental, maybe take away the Graves, put him on something different?
Look, I also feel like a lot of really unfortunate things happened to Grantleigh in that game. I don't know why the Jarvan was on like 100 HP when he went to his blue. I don't know what path he took or how he managed to do it, but he ended up being way too low in the jungle and should have already finished the blue at that point. So that death was like, that was just the start for Peanut.
Yes.
And then Peanut just consistently he got everything. He got all the kills. He was the basic force in that game, which we knew he would be and said he needed to be. But I don't exactly know what Grantleigh can do to make the changes. Maybe the death cap was a bad option by Lance. Maybe he should have gone for Magic Pen instead of finishing the death cap. As everybody had started picking up Hex Drinker, the Thresh had already picked up the Locket. Like, he was doing nothing at the end of the game.
Yeah.
We watched the Thresh literally stay alive from the Oriana shield and the Lockets, and I guess his Magic that he already had. So Lance basically became pretty useless towards the end of the game, even though he was so far ahead, and probably if you look at the damage stats, did a lot of damage. But we definitely need to see, I feel like a better AD carry also might have been a better option.
Yeah.
Jin not so good at dealing, even though he wasn't dealing with tanks, he could never kill the front line.
Yeah, and he never really got going at all. And he got hit by a lot of death sentences, that should be said. And very well played by Thresh, keep on hitting them. We saw that they kind of brought it back using that zone control that their comp uses. They have Leona, they have the Spooky Ghost, they have Hextech GLP. And Babycase, they can control a whole zone. Yet they're fighting very strangely. They are the ones getting picked off when they have the pick-off comp. And we saw them walking into the base and doing a lot of good things. All of a sudden, someone gets hooked. The Thresh is under the tower for half an hour. Lanceros flashes forward to kill the Zaya that has Hex Drinker. And you just lose that fight, and you're 6k gold behind when you were just even. Like, everything just kind of went south there.
But you shouldn't be taking that fight.
Yes, 100%.
That's the argument. Like, you just lost Baron, which is a great call from Peanut.
Yes.
Like, that was the best possible option there, is to trade the soul point for the Baron, and and then won 3-1. Because basically, coming through from Paul Roos, it's so good for them to be able to identify what Grantleigh's win condition was. And Grantleigh's win condition was Goon Squad 5-man team fights.
Yeah.
So split the game apart, and then you have a team fight where Grantleigh have to feed in one at a time, and Peanut will just walk over you because he's so far ahead.
Yeah.
And so unkillable at that point.
I mean, that hook hits, right? You're on the tower. You're at your tier 2 tower. That hook hits, you think you should fight. But actually all you need to do is kill the Thresh, walk back, reset. That's all you need to do. You can give up that tier 2 tower. Wait out the Baron. You're still even on gold. Your Vigar's still a problem. Now you can just start one-shotting things again. What your team comp does is fight front to back. Not your Vigar in the front and your tanks in the back. It's supposed to be the other way around. So that the fighting lines were just kind of there. Maybe it's a little bit of rust. The early Saturday morning sun, not really working yet for them. So I'm expecting Grantleigh to come back and just with a different mindset and a different approach to this.
There's one thing I'm worried about, though. It didn't have an overall massive impact in the game, but itemization for some of these guys. When I saw the Shen's itemization, I was like, that is not optimal. And it'll play a bigger role in the game, I think, going forward into the series, because the Shen wasn't having the impact that I'd expected it to have. So we'll see what they do. Hopefully they'll shape up a bit in that department, because that was worrisome to see.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so, people, before Game 2, we're just going to jump to a quick ad break. We'll see you back here with some more fantastic high school League of Legends championship action after this.
My gaming name is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Perfect, and we are back. Nice little ads there, I enjoyed that. Okay, so going into Game 2, right? One more game for Paul Roos and they are the champions 2020, right? Peanut spearheading this, he's thinking, okay, one more, we relax, we show dominance there. There was a lot of bad things, but there were some good things. Like you mentioned, the itemization, right? Not great from the side, from both teams actually. But the big problem was on the side of Paul Roos, for me, like we mentioned, the Shen. Now, for those people out there who play League of Legends, you're new, you don't really know how to do this. This is my advice, and I'm sure the pro players here or people who have won multiple championships will tell you the same. Go on the internet and Google a build. Easy as that. Say Shen builds. That's all. That'll help you a lot, trust me.
Yeah, generally a good website to use would be op.gg because they give you the champion statistics, everything, the win rates, what champions are good, which builds are currently in the meta and strong. So that's always a good thing to do before every game you play.
100%. Now, going into this game too, we want Grantleigh to win because we want 3 games. We want a lot of League of Legends. But now they need to be able to reset the mental, Alex. They need to do something about Peanut. You can't put him on something that can take over the game. The problem is the guy plays a lot of things that take over the game. So what do you do coming into Game 3?
Easy solution. Don't ban LeBlanc, ban Graves. Throw, literally, throw 3 bans at Peanuts, and put him on something that he has to play like Olaf or something that's not a Graves and not a Hecarim and not because they were banning away Hecarim.
Yeah,
So,
Hecarim is
and they have Red Sod now, so you can basically ban 3 junglers and pick a 4th one.
Yes.
First.
So if Light Switch plays Hecarim, you ban 3 junglers, pick Hecarim. You know? So, and Hecarim, very strong, very simple champion. You press E, the horse runs at someone and kills someone. It's very simple.
Yeah, especially if you also combine it with something like a Yuumi. That champion will literally take over that entire game and be unstoppable.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're going to jump into Champion Select for Game 2 now. I am very excited. I hope everyone at home is excited. Spam in chat who you think is going to win. But I'm thinking for this game, I'm just hoping that Grantleigh makes the right adaptations. But it has to be said, Roos looking very strong Game 1. Especially Peanut and especially the support who played Thresh, hitting a lot of crispy death sentences there in bot lane.
Yeah, it's interesting for me to see that with both teams funneling onto their like star players. You can see they're focusing on them and it's up to those two to carry. So that added pressure for those 2 players is insane. I would hate to be in their shoes because they probably feel like carrying this team is on my shoulders. The team's looking to me for guidance and to win the game.
Yeah. And I mean, both of you have been in a lot of finals. Both of you have been star players. Both of, like Alex, you've been a captain of a team that was reigning supreme for a lot of years. Do you feel like being captain, being a star player, that adds a lot of pressure on your shoulders? Like you are the end-all, be-all of the situation?
Yeah,
I feel like it can.
Yes. One of you.
Yes, Alex, continue.
I feel like it can put a lot of pressure on you, but I feel like that's what makes a good captain, being able to just adjust and kind of use your team, you know? Your team are there to support you and help you along the way, and I don't think it's all on you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so we're in Champ Select for game number 2. Let's see some adaptation here from both teams. We do see, okay, they were listening to Alex, the Graves is banned, LeBlanc is left up, and the Hecarim is up this time, so they might just first pick it here. Cassidy and Darius, Vladimir banned for the side of Roos. Let's see. Hecarim first pick, question mark?
Yeah, Alex was playing third imposter with helping with that grave.
I think you should just be... Yeah, probably just pick Hecarim here. You don't want a fed horse running around and just killing and one-shotting everyone. But they are thinking a lot about it.
It's very susceptible.
There's the Leona again. I think
I
this
don't
comes...
mind the Leona pick.
Well, I don't mind it. I think this comes down to what you mentioned in the pregame, is a lot of these players aren't playing in their native roles, the roles that they're used to. And I'm pretty sure the Dova Jin or Troll is an AD carry player by his name. There's literally Jin in his name. So I'm thinking he's probably just comfortable on Leona and a Hecarim pick, and there's a horse in the game, and now we have a problem.
Yo, I can tell the future.
I called it. I called it.
100% they can hear us.
They're listening. Are we doing the draft for them? Because clearly Grantleigh isn't listening to us because they didn't pick the horse. But Roos picking the horse plus Rakan.
I think not picking the Yuumi was a mistake there in that draft. That champion just works so brilliantly with the Hecarim when paired up.
100%.
Especially if you do want Peanut to carry the game for you. I feel like Yuumi is the best option in this situation. But we do see Hecarim and Rakan being locked in instead.
So do you just pick up... You should be picking up your AD carry. Caitlyn and Ashe is up, right? You might not want to play Ashe into Rakan, but it's not that bad. No, not Vayne. Oh, this... Okay. This is kind of interesting. I don't hate this, but...
I feel like Vayne is needed. I feel like last game, like, everything was on Lance. The Jin was tickling them, although he did some damage, he wasn't doing enough damage. And now you have something that can actually, if it gets ahead, be a proper threat. Look, Vayne is a very mechanical champion, so we're not exactly used to seeing stuff like this. But a lot of their hand being shown early here.
Okay, I see what's happening.
This is all Roos right now for me. I'm not gonna lie. The thing about Vayne is, right, yes, if you're ahead, you can take over game. But if you're behind, you're useless. Pick the Galio. Pick the Galio and you win. Yeah. Galio, Hecarim, this, see, Andrew Khan. Oh.
I don't understand why Caitlin's not getting picked up. Caitlin is the most dominant actual AD carry at the moment. She's so strong. Headshot damage is insane. Like, I'm surprised that they didn't pick her up because she can also stop the Hecarim straight in his tracks while he's running.
You can do a lot. Now Zaya being banned. Vayne's two biggest counters are Caitlyn and Ashe, and both of them are up, and both of them are strong. So, probably should be banning that out, honestly, in my opinion.
Please ban the Shen. Please, if anybody, if there's any LoL gods that are hearing, please ban the Shen. Could you imagine playing against Hecarim, Shen, Galio, Rakan? Shen wins the lane into Maokai.
I think... Okay, good ban. But Caitlyn, Ashe up, right? Do you just pick the Caitlyn or the Ashe even? I actually like either or. But I'll probably take the Caitlyn here. You just bully the Vayne out of lane and you win the game for free, no?
Do you want the real big brain pick? You can pick Lucian in this matchup.
No, you can't.
Lucian's great into Leona. Lucian destroys Vayne as well. You can pick Lucian.
But I mean, why would Lucian bot lane is going to troll?
The classic Camille Galio. That is a brilliant composition.
Camille Galio, Hecarim Rakan.
I think Paul Roos is going to storm this game with that team comp at the moment.
Yeah,
that is looking spicy and deadly.
Vlad isn't up. Diana is up for Lanceres, and that's the only shining light I'm seeing right now.
I see one really interesting point that could be pointed out.
Yes.
You could potentially send the Vayne mid lane into Galio, and that's the freest lane ever. Caps proved that. So
yeah, true, but he proved it 2 years ago. To be fair,
it's still viable.
Yeah, but I think there's still a burden of execution on it. I think Lance just needs to get on something comfortable, maybe something like a Diana. He needs to take over this game because right now this is looking like a huge draft death, if you're asking me. Malzahar.
Oh, I love that champ.
We got a lot of Malzahar abusers here in studio today, so I mean, there's no complaints here.
I don't think it's great in this situation, but overall it's a great champ. I love it. It's a good pick.
I don't know, into that team.
Yeah, but it's going to take a while for the Malzahar to ramp up. He's first going to need his first 3 items with Ludens, Aralais, and Leandries. And that takes a while. But luckily they do have the early game Olaf to actually help them survive that super early game and actually maybe help them do well as well.
True. But can we all agree if a Grantleigh, if they don't get ahead in this game, like pretty far ahead, this is just done. Because look at how easy Paul Roos' comp is to pull off. It's press R, go in, kill, thank you, goodbye, we are the champions. And look at how hard Grantleigh's side is to pull off, right? They have they also have like a team fight comp, but there's a lot of burden on execution. Olaf, Vayne, both of them need to play the team fight right. Malzahar need to play the team ult the right person. You know, this is... And if you time a Malzahar ult wrong on a Hecarim, you just get feared out of your ult, and then it's kind of useless. So this is going to be very hard for them, and I'm excited to see what they do. They are the current champions, so I don't want to sell them short. So I'm excited to see what they come up with and what their plan is with this comp that they're running.
Yeah, like I can see the merits that Grantleigh has in their team comp. So it'll be up to them to they have to perform on their champions. Like, for example, with that Leona Vayne lane, that is for me is very coin flippy at the moment, because if those two fall behind and don't do well, then the rest of the team is going to feel the pressure really, really hard.
Definitely. What did you want to say, Alex?
Look, I'm like always on the fence here, because previous game we said the same thing. Previous game we said Grantleigh had the better team, the easier to pull off team comp, and they lost.
True.
So now it's swapped. Now Paul Roos got the easier comp to play. But do they really have the easier comp to play? You're saying, yes, just press R, it's so much easier, but you just have a Vayne, 3 frontliners, and a Malzahar. So, it's not a hard comp to play. Keep the Vayne alive, hope your Vayne's ahead, and hope she kills things. If she doesn't kill things, you lose the game.
100%.
Literally.
Perfect. We're going to jump into an ad break again, and when we come back, we will be in game with game 2 of the High School League Grand Final.
My gaming name is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Series.
Okay, perfect. So we're jumping into game 2, Alex. Now I was having a think about this, right? We said that Paul Roos has an easier comp to pull off. Something happened a couple of weeks ago in the VS Championship. Hecarim was picked with a lot of Wombo combo. Now, if you're Hecarim, you can really mess up your team's Wombo combo if you use your Onslaught of Shadows and displace, I think is the word, the rest of the team and make it harder for your team to hit things. So that they might have some of that anti-synergy that we have spoken about previously.
Remember the game specifically that you're talking about. And the one thing I'd like to point out, which might be a bit close to home, is I can remember a very specific series between Royal and GG where we played Let's Play Around the Cogmore instead of Let's Play Around the Vane, and those games were very one-sided. So there is the potential that we have the same argument here where Paul Roos need to be able... I feel like the anti-synergy is not really there as much because Camille goes in, Galio ultis, Hecarim goes in, Galio ultis.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as that situation that you are talking about, but I definitely think the potential for the Vayne sort of hypercarry is here, especially considering the fact that she is playing into Ezreal as well.
Yeah.
And Vayne is actually an incredibly good pick into Ezreal because if she gets left in lane, because you're hoping this Rakan roams in this game. You pick Ezreal because it's a safe lane, and you want your Rakan to roam and impact your Galio, your Camille, your Hecarim. That's sort of why you pick that champion. So if Ezreal does happen to get left alone with the Vayne, Vayne can just run him down.
Yeah.
Literally just find how just chase him down if she's slightly ahead.
And if Vayne doesn't get hit by Camille, right? She doesn't get hit by Galileo Ultimate. She doesn't get hit by Onslaught of Shadows. She's just free hitting people. She's just free hitting and melting people. So she gets to that 2-game power or that 2-item power spike. She's getting to that Rage Blade plus Bulk or Phantom Dance or whatever people build now. Then she's gonna be tough to deal with. And we've seen Vaynes take over games, just tumbling everywhere and being all over the map. So it can be very, very difficult for the other side to deal with her, but they have tools to do it. It's just going to be about if it gets you that point in the game where it's one team fight and one team wins, and they have a bad read and Vayne gets to free hit people, in my opinion. So we'll have to see what their plan is. But if they're going to let Peanut just do whatever he wants again this game, excuse me, that horse is going to be a problem, and that horse is going to run over your whole team.
The one thing I would like to point out is the fact that Olaf is actually very good in Hecarim. So it's not exactly like the previous matchup where Peanut had like a hard counter, or not a hard counter, but a very, very easy matchup.
Yeah.
And we also don't see Peanut playing with Ignite this game. He will be playing with a Ghost. So he won't necessarily be as oppressive as a Graves with an Ignite.
Yes, true.
But he will still be very oppressive this game just because of the champion being Hecarim and him being able to gank the lanes more. Like in the previous game, we kind of saw Graves more invading and picking up loose kills. There were a lot of loose kills, and he was able to get the right position a lot. But this game, I feel like we're going to see him being a super gank heavy sort of player, like impacting the lanes a lot. And I feel like he's going to pick one lane, and that might be the bot lane, and he might pick on that a lot.
Yeah.
But then again, he might also... it all depends, because I feel like Camille has quite an easy time into Maokai.
Yeah, I don't think she struggles at all against Maokai. But also being said, looking at stuff here, right? This Israel, the villain, went cold. He's basically saying, cool, let's just handshake this lane, let's not fight. But even though Vayne isn't very strong early, she's not like someone you can just disrespect. She can still kill you early. She can, with a silver belt, with the CC of Leona, she can still easily kill you, especially if you are out of position.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a bit risky, because that's just sort of opting into the we're both going to farm and play safe in the bot lane, and that's kind of what the win condition is for the blue side at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Let the Vayne just sit back and farm. And that's all the Vayne and Leona should be looking to do. I mean, obviously if they can get a bit aggressive and potentially land Zenith's Blade onto the Israel and stun them up, or potentially even just kill the Rakan, then they can get the Vayne ahead, and if Vayne does get ahead in that lane, it can get really scary. I mean, if Vayne gets ahead against this team comp, it can get very scary.
Yeah.
Oh, great trade at the top lane.
Yeah, very well done there from past the TD Shakes. I like his name actually. But yeah, the thing is, like, you're opting into handshaking a lane where the person that you're handshaking with outscales you significantly. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that, and I'm not a huge fan of picking Ezreal when Caitlyn and Ashe were up. And even in my opinion, Lucian would be better than Ezreal here, but regardless, Ezreal not a great pick for me. I mean, it kind of does stuff, but you know, there's a lot of better things there.
I would have really liked to rather have seen the Corki in the mid lane than the Malzahar. I think that's a very, very favorable matchup for the Corki, and it's another set of damage. So now all your damage isn't really reliant on Lucian.
Yeah.
But your damage isn't really reliant on the Vayne. Nice. See, I wouldn't have picked Lucian in this matchup because you don't do magic damage then.
No, yeah. Well, obviously,
like,
if you pick something else, because they saw the Galio pretty early. So the preferred counter for Galio right now is Lucian, but then you have to pick a different jungle, obviously. You can pick something like Lilia in the jungle, something like Nidalee, something like Evelyn, but you know, it's all based about what they can play. What?
I still don't mind the Olaf. I still think Olaf's not bad at this comp.
I'm saying in the world where you pick Lucian. Yeah. In a world where you pick Lucian, you need AP damage somewhere else. Those were the options that were available.
I mean, you can already see the difference in sort of caliber of player when it comes to the jungle at the moment. I mean, Peanut already taking away Olaf's grab.
Yeah.
Dropping a ward, so he's going to be able to see Olaf as Olaf walks up to the top side.
And he's coming in for gas up.
Oh, yes. Coming in, Ghost has been popped. Flash coming through from the marker, gets taken down very low.
Okay. I mean, yeah, a Flash or Ghost, I mean, you probably take that if you're Peanut.
Great idea. And he's looking for a gank in the top lane.
Camille is very pushed up.
She does have hook shots, so I feel like from the marker, it's not going to hit.
Okay. A little bit wasted there. Yeah, you hate. What does Nick say? You hate to love to see it, or you love to hate to see it, or one of them. I don't know what he says. Okay, and again we see Peanut going for Dragon, playing heavily around objectives, and that was what gave them the success in the previous game. And it forced Grantleigh to take the Dragon in the previous game, and they got the Baron. So, again, Peanut heavily just going for these things. And they have Pry in mid lane, so Lanceros can't even walk down.
Yeah, just all around, Paul Roos just playing so well. I mean, Olaf opting to go for that top lane gank, which I feel like should have worked. It was just a bit of a misplay. But that's been the story of the series for Grantleigh. So much of this game has just come down to misplays and unfortunate situations for them.
Yeah.
And Roos really capitalizing on every single misplay and every single mistake.
Yeah, definitely. Roos are looking very strong. And like Luan said in the pre-game interview, you know, they came prepared. They have a plan, you know, so they are looking very good, and their plans are looking like it's working, putting Peanut in a position to carry and take over the game.
Ooh, we do see Olaf walking into Peanut's topside jungle. Then I wonder how much he's going to be able to take away. Things are coming down. Peanut does seem to be aware of this. It's nice to see. It's nice to see someone actually come jungling Peanut this time.
Yeah, fighting back a little bit here is the Olaf.
Olaf is going to get caught out in the jungle though. It looks like they are all collapsing on him. Galio does have the plant, can go over.
Do they know he's there?
They might just miss it. I think they're going to the wrong place. He is really low, and Lightfoot's going to get caught out, and he's just going to die here. And giving double buff over to the Camille, maybe? No.
Okay, that's first blood to the horse, and the horse has double buffs, has Onslaught of Shadows up, has Ghost up. He might just decide to gank someone near, and that person's going to have a bad day. No, he's just going to go do Roos.
Greedy. Like, there's no reason you need to finish off those Krugs there. You can just kill the big Krug and like one of the medium-sized Krugs and then walk away, and you still get an advantage. You don't have to finish the camp off.
Yeah, definitely. And good rotation coming in there from Sampion, Kampion, and Peanut. Okay.
Peanut getting both early objectives, just so massive. It's going to be really interesting to see where he decides to take this. I feel like he should drop it in the top lane. Get this Camille a lot more gold. Actually has gone Cull again.
He likes Cull. So 160-30, if you make this lane super long, by taking this top tower, Camille will just make Maokai's life a living hell. So that might be the play. I think you're right.
And if he goes better than Rune King, I'm going to be very, very upset this game.
No, it looks like Tiamat with those base.
The quickness comes through, double flash lane. Oh, there's the Galio here, and that's going to be a very dead lane. I think Gatsby trying to outplay. Goes the wrong direction and actually just sacrifices himself for his support.
Yeah, and 3 summoners burned there from Grantleigh. You had Flash and Heal both burned on Vayne, and Flash burned on the Leona as well. And then Ignite, double Ignite burn, no, sorry, TP, Ignite, Flash burned from the side of Roos. And Roos, as we said, looking good in game 2.
Yeah, they're definitely looking like they're in the driver's seat again, already at just about 1.5k gold advantage.
Yeah.
And I mean, Galio already hasn't even used his ult yet, they're already influencing the map. And it must be said, these globals, something they really enjoy doing.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
he
used his TP to get to bot lane that previous, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't even need to blow his grand entrance, I think it's called. Ooh, he might be caught now. What?
Gets ulted by Malzahar.
What interaction is that?
Malzahar cancel?
Mine,
the guys,
it didn't look like he got CC'd at all. That looked kind of strange. I didn't know that was how it works, or maybe Lancer's just misclicked.
I don't know if Lance cancelled it because he thought he was
Oh, good condemn.
Good condemn coming through with Vayne being caught out by 2, and I think he's just going to die in this situation. Dash into the bush.
Maybe if he had more HP to play with there, he could have done something, but you know, if you just need it, you need to be right-clicked. Yeah, this tower might just be down. No, they need to walk down to come defend this.
What they could have done is just, Leona does land with Zenith Blade, but I feel like at what cost? She gets taken a very low spell. If there comes out, she's getting taken down. Peanut gets the kill. Peanut just getting so much gold.
Yeah, and Lance still hasn't walked down. Lance walked back mid, and they just decided not to go down and try and do anything there. And he's not really getting much from staying mid.
He's used the nether grasp, but what can he do? He's actually getting absolutely destroyed right now in this trade by Champion. Trying to turn it around, doesn't have Ignite, does get the silence, but a great charge in by Champion, but he might actually die. Did he flash? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. So both flashes burned off mid laners. I think this... Oh! Yeah, launch yourself.
Oh, Heckrup is in, and that's going to be a killing spree going over to Peanut.
Yeah, and it's just a Peanut show right now.
Yeah, I feel like Grantleigh really like they kind of know what their win condition is in terms of like potentially playing around Lanceros, but I feel like in both games so far they've put it on these sort of really neutral champions that just don't really do too much, and Peanut in this situation just controlling his team better to get himself ahead and just being everywhere on the map and giving himself champions that he can do it with.
Yeah. Definitely, and you know, the horse problem and Graves was a problem. I mean, I feel like Vigar the previous game wasn't that bad, but Malzahar, if you're putting your best player on Malzahar, which we consider Lance to be, he's definitely the highest ranked player in Grantleigh, but if you're putting your best player on something that can't carry, and he's your carry, that's, you know, kind of a big oof, no?
Yeah, I also feel like picking Malzahar into Galio, like, Galio nullifies your lane. I mean, some champions not even necessarily playing it perfectly, but like, if you use Galio's passive to just, as soon as Malzahar summons his minions and use Galio's passive, it kills them immediately. And that's the majority of Malzahar's pushing power. So you're going to force him to use double the mana to push a lane, and Galio pushes the lane basically for free.
Yeah, especially now that he's got Hextech Proto Belt, he can just shove this the whole time. Ooh, quickness.
Ooh, Knight comes through, quickness, still chasing over.
Gatsby.
They are going to get the Gatsby down. Heal comes out, Gatsby chasing after the...
He almost outplayed that. There was also, there was almost some, you know, highlight clip type Gosu shenanigans going on there in bot lane, but in the end, to no avail. The Willem and Airblade just very strong right now. And Willem's coal is done, so I'm expecting him to sell that pretty soon so that he could pick up what I'm guessing will be, which looks like a bulk. Wait, what is Ezreal Ball taking again? Why am I forgetting? Oh, he's supposed to go Triforce. Frozen Gauntlet or Triforce. This game.
100% go Gauntlet. Gauntlet against Olaf and Vayne.
You can't stop him getting towards. You can't stop Olaf there. But against Vayne,
only if he ulti. Only if he ulti. He's gonna go better Rune King into the Gauntlet. Has to be.
I honestly like Iceborne Gauntlet better in most cases. Like almost like 90% of the cases.
Oh, Camille going on.
Grand entrance coming in. Oh, okay. He's dead.
You hate to see it, he flashes away.
But the animation still goes through and he dies on the tower. I feel like he didn't play that bad at all. Even though poor Roos could have just walked up, like some Kapun could have just walked up. Well, fighting the bot lanes and played hits.
Looking for the condemn, doesn't get the condemn into the wall, and that's a major misplay. TP being used by the Galio.
At least they get the TP out of Galio.
Things just falling apart for Grantleigh at this point. Ekram getting another Rift Herald as well. Camille getting ahead. And I mean, Maokai fighting the Camille right now, but 160-30 just doesn't seem to really care.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got Tiamat going into Triforce next. Once he hits that Triforce power spike, it's going to be a real problem. That's another. This is 7-0. This is a 6k gold lead. Yeah, this is a 6k gold lead though, Alex, at 16 minutes. This isn't looking close at all right now, and Grantleigh needs to find some way to stop the bleeding.
Oh, and I don't really know how to in this game. I mean, we've seen it before, and I'm always the one person to point it out. But you picked what? You picked a scaling AD carry, you picked a scaling top laner, you picked a scaling mid laner,
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose Olaf could be considered to have early power, but I still think he's also he does scale also as well at the same time. But you're so reliant on these champions not falling too far behind when you have a 0-3 Vayne at 60 minutes.
Yeah, it just feels bad. Like, it looked like the villain was just gonna handshake this lane bot lane going cold first, but Peanut has just been there the whole time. But even the villain man last Airblade actually pulling the trigger and taking fights in bot lane. Ooh, some got very low, and that interaction happened again. Peanut. Ooh.
I don't know if he keeps cancelling it.
No, I think that Hero Punch cancelled.
It shouldn't cancel it though.
It shouldn't, but it happened twice, and Lance stood still afterwards, so I'm thinking it cancels it.
That's so
Nothing
odd.
should cancel Nethergrass, but
it shouldn't cancel it.
Yeah. But I mean, Lance is standing still after each time that happens, so... Ooh, Gatsby, no.
Getting caught out.
Run, please.
One for the shadows comes up. Peanuts on a rampage. You know, like, it must be said, like, Paul Roos just looks so good.
Yeah, they look very clean.
Like, Grantleigh just... They're almost like a dog that's rolled over and shred them its belly. Like, they're not doing anything really proactive. I mean, we've seen a couple plays. We do see this in the top lane. Hookshot's gonna come out, and Camille's gonna walk away.
Yeah.
She might get caught out here, but she does have flash. Oh, she doesn't have flash. Leona's here, so they can get one kill here. Malzah's TP
Hero's entrance.
Hero's entrance coming through. Galio is here. Gonna see if we get the taunt. They're trying to turn around. Hectic ultimatum. They're gonna get one kill. Looking to get the second kill. Camille does eventually fall. Israel's also here. Nethergrass does come up. Marco's still alive somehow. And Galio is gonna fall. It's a double kill going over. Silence comes out. The villain getting taken low. He's gonna maybe be able to walk away.
Triple kill.
Oh,
triple kill to Lancer as well. That might give them some form of life. Wait, here comes Last Blade. Is he gonna go for it? No. Okay. Peanut is close by and he can one-shot these people.
At least we finally saw something proactive from Grantleigh. Like I said before, it almost felt like they'd given up on the game.
Yeah, it did feel like that, but now, I mean, all of your kills are on Malzahar, on Lanceres. It's up to Lance. You need to stall out this game. You don't need to win the game right away, but you need to slow it down, stop the bleeding. Just defend your base. Let these outer towers drop. It's fine. You don't need these outer towers. All you need now is gold on your Vayne and gold on your Malzahar, and you should be fine. Like, Malzahar is close to getting Leandris. Probably after that going something, I think Zhonya's would probably be good into Paul Roos' team comp, or he'll just go something like Rylai's. And
we're gonna get a pause. Peanut DC'd. We stop moving. I really can't stress enough that if you have a winning situation like that and you are a team that is behind, I'm not going to say people should overstay, but I feel like Grantleigh really needed to try and clear their topside jungle on the way out. Like, they just gave up their whole entire topside jungle after getting those 3 kills. And I'm not saying be greedy, I'm just saying, you know, you always see it. The pros, they win a fight, they stay in the jungle, they clear as much as they can.
Yeah, and
maybe
it's just taking gold.
But yeah, and they just handed all that gold over to Peanut, and Peanut is massive right now. Peanut's sitting on 7,500 gold, almost the most gold in the game.
Yeah.
Ezreal's actually got the most game at the moment. Ezreal's sitting on 7,800 gold. So Ezreal in a great position to carry, and I see a longsword, and I'm angry. Because if that ends up being a Triforce, I don't want to cost this game anymore.
It probably will end up being a long sword there, but you know, there is some technical issues, but it's not the end of the world. It does happen. But yeah, looking at the game state right now, if Grantleigh can stop the bleeding, get this Vayne to 2 items, maybe 3, because she's already got her bulk, right? Now, if she gets her Rage Blade, she's in business. She can start hitting and chunking and just melting this front line. But then again, if Peanut realizes this and runs it down because he's so fed already sitting on Triforce, this is going to be a bad time. This is not going to be a lot of fun for this side of Vayne, so, or Grantleigh in general. But we are back in action.
Past the TD Shakes, going to get caught up by 2 of them. My stream just froze for a moment.
Same.
We are back. Martin TDCheck's still alive somehow. He is going to eventually fall. Going to give the kill over to 160-30. Hecarim is looking. And yeah, just 3 kills just being donated over. And I really don't know how Grantleigh's still beating at this point.
Yeah. You shouldn't be fighting or contesting.
But also, do you even go Rageblade on Vayne in this situation? I feel like you need Phantom Dancer to try and stay alive. I feel like even opting for your Rageblade as a second item is just a death sentence because you won't be able to survive a team fight.
The thing is, you kind of need it. It's part of your core build. The thing is, you're so starved for gold right now that if you go, let's say, Phantom Dancer, you might not ever complete your Rageblade. Now, if you go Rageblade, you might be able to kill one person and die afterwards because you don't have PD, right? But it's gonna be about burden of execution, but
Hero's entrance comes out, doesn't really get anybody. They really need to pull the trigger now. Suppression does come out onto the Galio. They are looking to see what they can do. Lanceros gets caught by Peanut, but Peanut's gonna see if he can turn around. Peanut getting taken away. A great solar player is gonna stun him up. They are gonna turn over onto Lost Airblade. Airblade flashing away, but here comes the Olaf. They need to just go straight for the Baron, and that's the best possible situation they could have.
Holy. Just when we thought, okay, you know, they need to wait for that team to make a mistake, Lars instantly pulls the trigger on Campion, and they just pick them off. Peanut trying to one-shot Lanceros, doesn't manage to do it. Dover, Jin, I hope I'm saying that right. Dover, Jin, or Troll hitting a very, very nice...
Israel can clean that fight up.
Yeah. But Leona hitting a very nice, what's it called, solar flare?
Solar flare.
Yeah, on the Hecarim, and yeah, just doing very well. Ooh, bad smite.
Nasha actually going over to the Vayne. I feel like Peanut, like that whole play.
Oh, here comes the TP.
TP coming through.
Who's that? That's Galio, or Camille, or both.
No, it's Camille.
Oh, it's both.
Are they gonna get a kill? No, flash comes through. Double TP wasted. Ooh, Lon's gonna get a free kill. No, never mind. I thought she was way lower, but that was her bar.
I was so confused now when you said that.
I feel like that whole team fight basically came off of last Airblade getting caught out there, and Champion wasting his heroic entrance to try and save the Rakan, who was already saved. And then it was just the ripple effect, like that. At least Grantleigh knew that was when they had to take the fight and go straight up. Oh, another Zenithblade landing on the last Airblade. He's just gonna dash away. Such a frustrating champion. Oh, they are gonna catch up Leona. Leona getting taken down very low. Solar Flare used defensively. Now that's what you don't want to be doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Right before a dragon, dropping these key ultimates.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, looking at Vayne's build, she went for double recurve bow. Now one of them is building into Rageblade. Is she... What is the other one building into?
No clue. You're asking her... Maybe Runan's Hurricane?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but you don't build Runan's Hurricane on Vayne, so I don't know why you would build that. Oh?
160-30. Can you catch up with Leona? Here comes Hurricane. They do manage to get into the Rakan. Rakan does end up falling, but Hecarim does enter the...
Vayne is free eating.
Going over to...
Vayne is free eating still.
Vayne is free eating. She's gonna get one kill. No, she's not. Peanut gonna run away. Oh, Israel gets stunned up. He does have to flash over.
He's so low.
Ticking. Is he gonna go down? He does go down to the end of Vayne. Is gonna get onto Hecarim. And then Champion should also be taking... Gatsby, you don't want to follow that up. Oh no, but here comes the champion with the legs. Like,
Camille.
The 1v1 coming through. Camille does manage to get one kill. Does get
oh my word. That was...
So chaotic.
That was a chaotic fight, and I thought Grantleigh had that. No one was touching Vayne at all for a while. But then, you know, the Camille just comes back and say, hey, Vayne, let me tell you something. Let me whisper in your ear. And then just kicks her in the face repeatedly. So very rude from Camille there.
No, and I think I always feel like if you have Malzahar, it's a great idea to just automatically grab hold of that Rakan before he can use his quickness to get onto your team. But I feel like it was just a little bit too late, like the damage had already been a little bit done, and you had grouped. But also, Angel was free hitting for majority of that fight as well.
Yeah, true. I feel like like you said, the nether grass maybe a second too late. 2 people, I think, were already hit by the quickness. So just a little bit too late. I think he just wanted to be in a better position so he doesn't open himself up to the other team where he can get killed. But yeah, we do see a lot of the items done for Rageblade. So that was a misbuy from Gatsby. He sold his recurve bow. At that point, probably better just to hang on to it because you lose a lot by selling something like that. Probably just hold on to it and build something later with it. What?
Even if you don't go Runans, like you have to keep that item. You could potentially even go to Wit's End if you have to.
Yeah, you just hold on to, because like you already spend a lot of gold on it. It's not bad base stats. Just hold on to it, and then later, like your last item, when you have a lot of gold, you can sell it if you get to that point.
And the scary thing is Paul Roos sitting on Ocean Soul.
Yeah.
Like on Ocean Soul Point. So like that's something that's really difficult to deal with beefy members like Galio and members like Camille that are actually so difficult to kill because she gets her shield from her passive.
Yeah.
And Hecarim.
Yeah.
Death's Dance.
Yeah. The thing is, the later this game goes, a little Fnatic Death Rusher, but the later this game goes, the better position the side of Grantleigh is in, but it's not a great position still. Unstoppable Force.
They're gonna come through, they're gonna get on the Vayne. Vayne's gonna get taken out very quickly. And these globals just paying dividends right now because Olaf has come in. Here comes the suppression onto Peanut. Peanut's gonna fall. Olaf stuck, Galio stuck behind the tower. Olaf's here to get the shutdown.
Okay.
Meanwhile, on the top lane, we do see Pastor Shakes fighting with 160-30. Camille just healing through all the damage.
Yeah. I mean, a good turnaround there from Grantleigh. You know, you lose Gatsby, but he's not worth a lot of gold since he's died 6 times. But you pick up Peanut, which is worth gold, and Campion. So, you know, very well done there. Light Switch is going to run down Airblade.
I like it. Doesn't matter. Oh, Camille's here.
Ooh, this might be bad.
60-30. I don't feel like Olaf's going to last long. Olaf trying to see if he can fight out. They're still going to try and get last Airblade.
Oh, he does get it.
Damage. Here comes the solar flares. They didn't made over. Can they turn it around? Camille get the
Hold
shield.
on.
Olaf's not dying.
Hold on. What?
That's going to be a shutdown. Just before the dragon, this is perfect timing for Grantleigh.
What was that? It's 15 seconds on Baron. They might just walk there. They have a Vayne with Rageblade plus Bork. They can do that pretty easily, to be honest.
And Olaf's now a level above Hecarim. But do you trade the Baron for the Drake?
Probably
like
not.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, probably just go for Drake, no? I don't think you want them on Ocean.
You can't. Vayne's still top lane.
Yeah, Vayne needs to walk down immediately. Like, leap. Oh, she's backing. Oh, this might be very bad.
Oh, no. The chef TP.
I think this might be game.
This is really bad.
This might be game right here.
Yana getting caught out.
Okay.
Dragon is up.
Used for no reason. Okay, now one of your main tanks are low.
Galio's zoning. Dragon's burning. 2000 HP, 1000 HP.
Oh, they're not even close.
They do get the Ocean Soul, and this might be the end of the game for me.
Yeah. Vayne's not even in the fight.
Vayne finally arrives. She's going to start doing some damage to Peanut, but is her team alive? Can she survive? Next ultimatum comes out. Vayne gets knocked up. She actually manages to dodge. Still alive. Here comes the Hecarim to seal the deal.
I think this might just be over.
Champion going in, and look at the healing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I think this just might be over, honestly. Like, they were just not in a position to contest that dragon. Vayne staying way too long in top lane. They couldn't posture for position around the dragon and get in there and do something about it, or just like force them off. They were so far out of position, and that just feels bad, man, for the side of Grantleigh.
They could have done dragon. I mean Baron.
Yeah.
Roos could have just literally forced the Baron. It was so free there with only Malzahar and Marka up.
Yeah.
I mean, I get playing it safe, but it must be said, Champion doing such a good job in that team fight, completely zoning off all the members from Grantleigh.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, okay, Lars Eberle taking a little bit of damage, but does have Ocean Soul, so it won't bother him too much.
Oh, I thought the Zenith Blade was going to connect there.
That was close. Okay, they do get the scuttle. This game is not over, but it's looking very scary. Okay, Vayne is sitting on 2 items plus Zeal, so soon to have probably PD, I'm guessing. PD or Raid or Revolver, probably favor PD in this against that team, especially against Hecarim. But this game isn't over, like we said. One good team fight can do a lot, but it's about being in the right position. Like, look at where Vayne is right now and Baron is up. You can't be doing this.
Yeah.
You don't have TP.
None of them are starting it.
Yeah, because they saw them on wards, I think. Okay, no, they're just clearing vision. But Lance can be in the bot lane. He should be in bot lane splitting. He's got TP. He should be creating pressure elsewhere. Get this static gold on the map like this bot lane tower. What TP is this? No.
I think he thought he was going to die. Trying to do the SOAS play, but he was all alone.
Yeah, but you were fine. Not a bad... Okay, if you think you'll die there, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
The death brush.
Ooh, phonetic death rush.
Oh, I thought... Oh, no.
Okay.
Vayne using the flash and the final hour.
Gatsby just saw his life flash with in front of his eyes there. Just flashes straight into a wall. And they're just gonna chill here, it seems like. I mean... Grantleigh, no, they're not on it. They have scuttle.
Hecarim could have just ulted over the wall, and Ezra could have just gone over the wall with him and just killed the Baron.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to waste your onslaught of shadows particularly, but it's an easy way over. No one would have known.
True.
Look, Grantleigh have got bot lane pushing for them, so that is favourable.
Yeah, but I mean, you can even put Lanceres in that side lane. He does have TP up. He can just TP back. And he could have been...
Can you afford to not have Lance there to stop Rakan from pulling the trigger? That's the question.
That's a good question. I mean, you have some disengaged tools, like Maokai ult and stuff like that, but yeah, maybe that's just what they're thinking as well. It's not it's not that bad.
The game's not over for Grantleigh yet, but it does look a bit dire right now. So many minions are just dying to the waves in the side lanes.
It's a lot of gold.
Vayne's got 30 CS in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of gold being lost here right now.
So much gold being lost. And I mean, I feel like Paul Roos just waiting to split the map. They're literally just waiting for a situation where Elder Drake is up and Baron is up, and you just pick the opposite one, and if they have any more sort of advantages at all, the game is basically done.
I mean, Vayne should just be picking up gold so she can get that PD. One good fight from Grantleigh, where Vayne takes over, they can win this game, right? But that's the problem. Vayne needs to take over. We saw her not even be at in the previous fight.
Yeah.
So.
But now, if Paul Roos waits and they get the Elder Drake, even if they trade the Elder Drake for Baron, Vayne's up the equation.
Yes,
because if Hecarim comes in with Devastating Charge and Onslaught of Shadows, and he managed to hit Vayne with both, the Dragon will finish her off, because she's going down to about 200 HP, 300 HP every single fight. She won't survive the fight.
100%, but that's the thing. If you are the side of Grantleigh, do you just go for the Elder instead of the Baron?
Oh, I don't know, man.
I'd probably do if I'm Grantleigh, I'd probably call let's go Elder instead of Baron, because you can clear waves, but you can't stop Hecarim from one-shotting everyone.
And I mean, Paul Roos also, like, I feel like playing this a bit oddly, just like slowly letting the game peter out when they're in the driver's position.
Yeah.
And letting Grantleigh kind of like build up some gold and get some vision down. Oh, Rakan looking, can't find anything. 160-30 does try to get onto the owner. They are going to walk into all 5 of them. Solar Flare comes up, they're trying to see if they can get onto Rakan. Does get stunned up. Here comes the heroic entrance. Gonna knock up one person, but Vayne's already
Vayne's
down.
dead.
But the Olaf's still going, and there's so many low health bars, but Lancer's gonna get taken down.
That's
Olaf's gonna
GG.
get taken down, and that's a wash. Only the Maokai and Leona survived.
That just feels so bad. They can just take everything and end. That is very feels bad, man, for the side of Grantleigh. Like Vayne, just in a position where you can't be. If you get hit by any of these abilities, we said it before the game. If you get hit by any Onslaught of Shadows, Grand Entrance or Year's Entrance, Quickness, or the Camille ult, X-Tech Ultimatum, I think, then you just die and you're going to lose the team fight. So, yeah, it just feels bad for the side of Gatsby there.
And it's even worse because Grantleigh now lose out on the Elder Drake, and now how do you fight for the Baron?
I don't think you can.
Forest can literally just walk to the Baron now and force the Baron. Let your Galio is incredibly tanky, let your Galio tank it or let your Camille sort of tank it, and then just turn. You've got the Ocean Drake, you've got nothing stopping you from just setting up on this Baron, forcing them to come to you and just pulling the trigger.
And you can Baron dance all day because you got Ocean Salt.
Drake.
So you can literally just keep on starting it and then running at them if they try and do anything about it. So they are playing extremely well right now. They are taking a lot of time to close out this game, but I'm thinking this is a final. They don't want to throw, they don't want to take a bad fight. So they're taking it slow, being methodical, trying to close out this game. And this game should just be over right now. They have Elder plus Baron. This should be GG.
And once again, I'm looking for the 1-3-1. Camille in the bot lane. Camille in the top lane, Galio in the bot lane. Let your Rakar and your Ezreal and your Hecarim stay in the mid lane. And just slowly walk the lanes in. Oh, Vayne, gonna get caught out. Quickness on it. There comes on to the Shadows. Vayne does get finished off by the Galio in the end. That's gonna be the first person going down. And smell of GG in the air. Yeah, smell of GG in the air. Rakar going over the wall.
I mean, a lot of ults was used there to kill Vayne, but still, I think this is, if I had to bet money, I would say this is probably over.
I feel like Lance needs to pull the trigger on someone. You can't just wait.
Yeah, but who do you ult? Probably
Galio, you ult the Hecarim. You ult the Hecarim when he walks in like this. And just, I suppose you don't have any damage now because Vayne's gone.
That's the
So who
thing.
do you kill? Meanwhile, Ezreal and Camille just destroying all of your base.
Yeah, and I mean, this just feels like Gatsby's up in 5 seconds. Something needs to happen, but what? That's the question. If Hecarim walks up disrespectfully, I think you just ult him and try and kill him. Okay.
Oh,
Finish late hits.
That's going to be Leona getting taken down very low, going
Vayne
out
is not
split from
there.
their team.
Vayne and
this
Malzahn
looks
are
like
not
they're
there.
just going to slowly walk it through for the 2-0, and it must be said Paul Roos playing this game impeccably.
Yeah, no, definitely. And this just looks like it's GG. Nethergrass comes out.
Oh, there comes the quickness. They're going to see if they can finish up the game. That's going to be Airblade going on to Gatsby.
Gatsby
but
gets
at what
one.
cost? Malzahar's already gone down. Israel's going to go down.
He gets
and
two.
It's just Vayne versus the world at this point. Flashing away, but Peanut's massive. Dashing back in, Auto's the wrong thing.
Auto's the minion. Ugh.
Winions for the win. And this game is going to be a 2-0 in favor of Forest, shutting down the previous champions.
Grantleigh, yeah. And yeah, congratulations to Paul Roos, the 2020 High School Esports League of Legends champions. Congratulations. We have new champions. Harman?
Yeah, that's great. Back. And it was a great few matches to watch as well. Like it was super entertaining, and I liked the team comps coming out from both teams. Like and the players synergized well with each other, from Paul Roos especially. The way so they had a few mishaps every now and then, but the way they in general played that last game specifically, their map control was excellent. Their objectives was excellent. I feel like they could have ended the game a lot sooner by starting the Baron or maybe forcing a fight around it, but they still clinched it in the end. So well done to them.
And has to be said, something that we discussed. Peanut taking over the game. They put him in a position to be successful. But again, a lot of people played well. I was very impressed by Galio. Sampioen Kampioen in mid lane did very well, in my opinion. I was very impressed by him. But both games, it's just like the Peanut show, just running around, and there wasn't really much it felt like Grantleigh could do. They were out of position. They couldn't answer the objectives where they needed to be. They weren't at Dragon, you know, they weren't at Baron, they weren't in the right position. It just, I don't know, it just feels bad, but all props to Paul Roos and, you know, congratulations on the championship. Do you have something to say, Alex?
I feel like the last game was definitely part of the Peanut show, but it must be said the whole of Paul Roos showed up that game.
Yeah.
Like every single, and even in the first game, the reason that Peanut got to play the way that he played was because every single lane, barring maybe mid lane, was winning. Actually, in fact, Sampion Campion was winning at the beginning of the first game on the Oreo because he got such good trades early.
Yep.
And that first 5 minutes of the game set up Peanut so well. I just think they just played so well all round. They identified what their win conditions were. They outdrafted Grantleigh in both games. And it feels bad. You know, it feels bad seeing a player like Lonceros playing Malzar and Vega, champions that are very dependent on the game states in order to do anything.
Yeah, no, definitely. And coming to you, Arman, you're obviously watching this as well. We expected these two players to take over, but we saw a lot of good things. We saw a lot of good things from the high school league, and I'm very happy with what we saw. It is a lot better than what we thought. These teams, especially Paul Roos, drafted pretty well. I mean, there was some lack of picking stuff like Caitlin and Ash that we mentioned, but like, if maybe it's just not something he's comfortable with.
Yeah, like with a bit of fine-tuning and finesse, like maybe a coach or if someone with experience was to jump in, these players could get fine-tuned into being excellent teams. Like I wouldn't be surprised seeing people like that, especially with that synergy. They could actually even compete in the main VS Gaming League already if they wanted to or tried to.
Yeah, 100%. And they played well. They played around objectives. Peanut, like, he took 2 Rift Heralds and 4 Dragons. Like, that's just crazy. It was like there was no answer for Peanut running and just taking objectives. To be fair, Grantleigh didn't have any, like, prio. They didn't have, like, that some prio early in bot lane, but they never moved. They just kept pushing, and the bot lane of Paul Roos could walk first still. So, just well played overall from Paul Roos, in my opinion. They were first to every objective, and they played the game like they played objective-based, the game. And that's the way to play. It doesn't help if you have 50 kills, but you've taken no objectives. And I think that's just, at the end of the day, that's what won the game for Paul Roos.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you anymore.
Yeah, like literally, it was just like buff stack on buff stack near the end. But also, one thing with where Paul Roos did excel was, like we said, with the objective control. But the thing is, with that last soul point dragon, the Vayne was found topside. Like, you can't position in places like that, especially when it's to this crucial end game point. You need to be there with your team to contest. And I feel like that her or Vayne's mispositioning was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and I mean, it happened twice, right? It happened. They even gave her time to get back. She recalled, walked back to Dragon. She had time. But she walked bot side, and all of her team was on the, coming from mid, and she was out of position again. And it just feels bad if you are the AD carry for Grantleigh, because a lot of that, some people will look at it and pin it on you, but it's not just his fault. A lot of the people were making bad plays. And not just that, a lot of Paul Roos were making very good plays. It has to be, credit where credit is due. A lot of Paul Roos were doing a lot of good things. They were engaging. I was very impressed with the Rakan as well. These players are not scared to pull the trigger and say, cool, we're fighting now. You don't see that very often in top echelon like South Africa League of Legends, because it's a lot more measured. People posture a lot for position. Here it's like, I press R, I go right now, and I throw all of my abilities on you, and I want to win right now.
Yeah, but that leads into what I said earlier when the series started. It's these players came here to win. They didn't play to not lose. And that's what we saw a lot of, and that was really good to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And looking forward to, let's say, next year's high school league, a lot of these players we're seeing now won't be there, right? There are a lot of matrics, like Lanceres is a matric. I think most of Grantleigh is matric. I'm not sure what the ages are of Paul Roos. We can ask the captain when we have an interview with him now. But there's a lot that, a lot will change. And that's the thing about high school esports, that like the main esports don't have is that interchange of players consistently. Like, we have players that have played for, what, 8 years in VS Gaming Prem, you know, but in high school league, you can only play until you're done with matric. So now all of a sudden, all of these players are out, and next year we get some new, fresh blood, new, fresh faces. So that makes it exciting and keeps it nice for everyone watching.
Yeah, and it's also nice because it's a great grassroots level that is like a nice feeder system into the main leagues and into the South African scene. So we're just building talent this way. And this tournament system with the high schools is great. It's great for growth. It's great for the community. So 100%.
Yeah. And Alex, for you, now this is a new champion. Last year Grantleigh won. We did say in beforehand that that Paul Roos won. We got that wrong. Apparently I was looking into the future. But Paul Roos did win this one, and, you know, it must feel good. Paul Roos, a school with a lot of history behind them, a lot of, you know, support. And we spoke to Luan beforehand, and Louis said, you know, he wants to put them in the best position, and he believes in the guys. And they came out and proved it, and they looked very good doing it. What do you think, Royce? I don't know if I asked you a question in there. Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Sorry, I was on standby. I couldn't hear anything.
No, what I'm saying, for a school like this, with how they felt beforehand, do you think, you know, that confidence that they came in and how they prepped? Luan said beforehand when we asked him, he said, they have a game plan. They know how to beat Grantleigh. And it showed. They came in and they proved it.
Yeah, I definitely think they did come up with a proper game plan, and it was really nice to see for once. There's so many games that we watch in VS Gaming and in general where teams don't really come up with a plan, and you end up with these sort of like solo queue-esque team comps, kind of like what Grantleigh came up with in the last game. I feel like the first game really shook them. It's really hard to lose a game that you feel like you're winning and you have the momentum.
Yeah.
So after that, it looked like they gave up. They didn't give up hope. They still did fight, but they definitely kind of went for one of those lucky packet comps, in my opinion. Like picking a vein with the team comps that they picked. It was hard, and you put so much pressure on one player, and we saw the player crack, sadly, and that's how it is. Like, these are not like top level competitors, and it's nice to see players sort of taking on the responsibility. But they obviously need to take a step back and learn from these and grow from these mistakes. But it must be said that Paul Roos really showed up, and it's
100%.
really nice to see Peanut kind of back in form. Like, we saw him rise in VX Gaming and then kind of disappear. I think he had school issues and things like that. Well, not issues, but he had to go back to school and do things. And it's nice to see him performing really well in the team and like kind of coaching. I don't know if he's coaching or being a pillar for these players to grow.
No, 100%. And to talk more about that win, we have the captain on standby, Luan. And Luan, welcome back and congratulations on being the 2020 High School Esports League champion. That's a lot of words in a row. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very happy, and it was actually very nice to see our team pull through and manage to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine. And going into this, you said you had a plan. You knew how to beat Grantleigh. You lost to them in the regular season, but you had a plan coming in. And, you know, it looked like it worked. Was that your plan? Was the plan to put, like, Peanut in a position, pick easy to pull off comps and just run over them and play around objectives? What was your plan?
Well, the first game, Grace, was actually just like a kind of a panic pick because they didn't really give me... they asked for Galio and I forgot I didn't have Galio, so I just picked Grace, and in the end it actually worked out. But we still kind of had a plan of drafting stuff like Galio, Rakan, and Camille, and that's what we saw second game, and we did throw somehow a bit, but we still managed to use the team comp, and that's what we practiced basically, and especially to focus Lancerus since he's the carry in their team mostly.
No, 100%.
So what was your mentality like when you guys like had those moments in the game where it was kind of throwing? So how did you guys recover from that mental, or did it like not even dent your mental? What was happening with the team in those scenarios?
Well, firstly, we did kind of panic a bit. It's like we didn't get mad at each other, but we started blaming each other, and then we managed just to calm each other down and start getting a better spirit, play it slow, and manage to get back in the game again.
No, 100%. And for next year, right? How many of the current team, the current 5, how many of you will still be here next year?
It's only me. The other 4 boys in the team are matricked.
Oh, damn. So that's a whole new revamp as well.
Yes.
I mean, but that must feel nice. You know, there's a constant flow of new teammates, new players, new people. I mean, you are like kind of the shining star of the team, someone who's also got VS Prem experience. I mean, it must feel nice getting new people in, but also kind of sad seeing your current teammates go.
Yes, exactly. It will be nice to see new people obviously come in, because there's a lot of boys at school that also wants to play League of Legends with us. We normally had 2 teams, but the other team fell apart, I think, this year, so we only went with 1 team this year.
Okay. And then hopefully winning another championship next year.
Yeah.
No, 100%. But also looking forward for you, is there anything else any other tournaments you guys will be entering the rest of this season? Or are you done now, taking a break?
I think we're basically done, because I don't know if anything else we can really join like tournaments anymore. And they also like our matrix is closely writing to like exams and stuff, and I guess.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Luan, and appreciate you for coming for the interview. Well done, and congratulations on being the champions. Okay, people, we're going to jump into a quick ad break, and then we'll be right back.
Do I still need to stay here?
My gaming name is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Setting.
Okay, hello and welcome back. Well, we are actually saying goodbye, and we want to thank all of you at home for watching and supporting the boys from Roos and Grantleigh playing this fantastic finals. We really appreciate all your support. And from us here at VS, we will be back at 1:30 for the lower bracket final of Dynamic versus Goliath, and it's going to be intense. I'm pretty sure Nix and Hayes are going to be casting. It's going to be intense. It's going to be fantastic. If you followed any of the Counter-Strike, be here. It's going to be amazing. And then tomorrow for the HSEL, it will be the finals for Counter-Strike as well. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at 1:30.
Setting. So you